Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could take sweet victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got Bet David? Valuetainment, giving values contagious. This world of entrepreneurs, we get no value to hate it. How they run, homie, look what I become. I'm the one.
Episode 367, a ton going on. Trump, $354 million, Vinny. We're going to talk about a lot of different things.
Unbelievable.
Hope you guys had a good weekend. I was in Miami. I had a very good time in Miami. I met so many. The fans that were in Miami, you guys were fantastic. PBD Podcast, Carbone, Nobu, St. Regis, shopping, endless stories. It was an incredible experience with the folks in Miami. Miami's got a lot of PBD Podcast folks. No wonder you like to go to all the clubs in Miami, because I'm sure you're treated royally no matter where you go.
Never been to Miami in my life.
Yeah,
never been to South Beach, never been to clubs, never been to Soho House, nothing.
Listen, this whole act we put up about Adam being a playboy, it's actually a lie.
That was Tom.
He's the shyest guy in the world. Anyways, okay, stories. Navalny is no longer with us. What happened? A lot of stories behind it. Kevin O'Leary responds to what's going on with Trump in New York, and it's not looking good for the business folks in New York. But guess what? Cohen had something to say about Trump in New York, which kind of calls out all the establishment candidates directly and indirectly, which we'll get into that as well. Truckers in New York, all of a sudden, they're like, look, man, I'm not doing any loads to New York. It's just, I'm done with this. We're not going to be doing it. This guy that's the biggest truck driver from New York, who says 95% of truck drivers in New York are Trump supporters. They don't want to do any loads into New York, so we'll see if anything's going to happen there. Migrant stories is escalating. By the way, I'm going to tell you a story that Vinny's brought up to my attention, which doesn't seem real, okay? Immigrant from Hong Kong becomes first non-U.S. citizen appointed to San Francisco Election Commission who doesn't speak English. I mean, he says doesn't speak English when you see this video. They have to do captions. And she is here from Hong Kong, choosing election in San Francisco, state of California, ran by the great governor.
Oh,
he's a winner, right?
Potential future president. You never know.
Yeah.
This has to be a movie script.
No, it's real, Tom.
It doesn't sound like it's a real story, but it's a real story. California theft is not slowing down. Archdiocese of New York condemns scandalous, sacrilegious behavior following trans activist funeral. Adam's got thoughts. What do you see the video, by the way? They're telling me this video that is absolutely crazy. I haven't seen it. What they're telling me on what these guys were screaming in.
You have to watch the video.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Sunday church. This is what's happened.
I haven't reacted to it. I'll watch it for the first time with the rest of you. More stories with Bill Maher reaction to sanctuary cities, saying immigration isn't good for U.S. and the current system. Texas Governor Abbott announces border military base to combat flow of immigrants, migrants. Facing community pushback, New York City Mayor reverses plan to house migrants in luxury building. A little bit of common sense is sinking in there, which is good to see. Inflation struggles pushing blue-collar workers to vote red in November. And then Bill Maher says Donald Trump is not Adolf Hitler. Okay, so we'll see who he's talking about.
It's always
By the way, a list comes out, an expert of presidents, which you guys don't know this one. I'll send it to you, Rob, and I'll share it with you. They ranked the greatest presidents of all time and the worst president of all time. I actually, before him showing it to you, by the way, these are experts. The Hill wrote about it. New York Times wrote about it. NPR wrote about it. I want you to think where they ranked Biden and where they ranked Trump. It's absolutely fascinating. And where Reagan ranked is also fascinating. We'll cover that here in a minute. We'll have some fun with that part here. Let me see what else I got here. Let's go to a couple on this side. So OpenAI Sam Altman blows minds as he shows off the text-to-video AI. Rob, if you got that video,
that's crazy.
Let's have that when we show it to everybody else. Elon Musk, in a private DM to someone, said, "You are dead to me." Dead to me. You know who he said that to?
Yeah.
Matt Taibbi. Twitter files. So what's going on over there? Carl Icahn dumps $700 million in Apple stock as iPhone bet sours And Tom even says there's rumors that the older iPhones are better than the newer iPhone. We'll cover that. Disney board doesn't want you to know something. You know what that is? They want to hide the political donations spending on sex changes from shareholders. Docs reveal, and this is from the Daily Caller. Why doesn't Disney want us to know about this? Who knows? Maybe we'll cover that. Gen Z rejects financial guru Dave Ramsey's advice to live debt-free. Gen Z says self-care is extremely important. Aww. Can you imagine? That's so sweet. 7% mortgage rates are back, but fear not. Rates will fall in 2024. Economists say. Market Watch. Americans staying put. Percentage that moved in 2023 hit record low, meaning people are no longer moving from state to state. A woman in Michigan using credit cards to trick allegedly stole $800,000 in rented designer goods. A sad story here, no matter who you are. Son of the former YouTube CEO found dead in UC Berkeley dorm, school officials say, and apparently it had to do with fentanyl, which we'll get into that. That's, affecting everybody. Total sad story. Unfortunate to see that taking place. Capital One ends up buying Discover, which Tom's got an update on that. And we got a Bill Maher reaction with Van Jones. And let me see, what else do I have here? The View. Rob, did you find that clip with The View? Which The View says it's a bad idea for Biden to debate Trump. Apparently, they think they should do whatever they can to not put those two on the same stage. And not have any kind of a debate. So, having said that, let's get into a couple things. One, the complaint of the weekend I got was the following. Hey, Pat, I would have bought a VIP ticket if I knew you guys are doing a podcast with Chris Cuomo and Candace Owens, but it's sold within the first 17 minutes. And I want to go to the back of the cigar lounge. I want to go to all these other places, but I cannot. Okay, there's nothing we can do about it. And I say it every single time. That sells out first. It's the most expensive ticket, and it's the first one to go because it's so much value for it because you're hanging out in the back, networking, meeting people. Here's what we're doing. I got 2 seats I set on the side, which means you're going to sit with the staff, not with everybody else, but it's VIP, meaning front row. This is $500 seats that we'd sell. But I told you earlier that this year's goal, we want 1 million people to sport Future Looks Bright and confuse the shit out of people in a time that's strange times, tumultuous times, scary times for many. Market, economy, business, politics, election, them talking all about viruses and putting all these fears into everybody. We want to inject hope. We want to be paranoid, but we want to inject hope in everybody's minds. We even had a guy, I don't want to say the name, he's a billionaire who watches the podcast, ordered 1,000 Future Looks Bright shirts. No joke. He ordered 1,000 Future Looks Bright
Shout out to
shirts.
Him.
Specifically, shirts is what he ordered. And we're getting a lot of people that are wanting to support that message of Future Looks Bright. So here's what we're doing. Anybody that places an order of $100 of Future Looks Bright gear. So if you're looking at this here, Rob's showing it. We're going to put the link below. This is just the Future Looks Bright gear. Place an order of $100 or more. I'm giving away 2 tickets, 2 VIP, 2 Candace Owens, Chris Cuomo live in the studio here in the flesh. And you'll go to the back at the cigar lounge. We may even give you a tour of the office here that we run out. We may even bring you into the podcast set that we have here. Anyone that places an order for $100, we will not be announcing the winner between now and next Tuesday. So today, Thursday, we'll go ahead and place your order, $100, and we'll do a raffle to give 2 VIP tickets to the Cuomo Candace Owens event. Having said that, let's get right into it. Okay, Tom, Rob, so if you can pull up that tweet and pull up the first video with Trump slams total sham, $355 million fraud ruling on campaign trail, believes decision will make businesses leave New York. No victims, no damage. And here's what the story says. President Trump rallied against lunatic Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron's ruling after he was found to be inflated his net worth by billions to secure favorable bank loans. The case is a complete and total scam. It's a sham case. There were no victims. This is merely an election interference ploy by crazed attorney general working closely with a very bad judge. As a result of this decision, businesses are going to leave New York State, taking thousands of jobs with them because they can't subject themselves to this. And by the way, if you have the video, just play the video, Rob, on what Trump's talking about. Again, $354 million he's asked to pay for no crime.
Jeez.
There is no crime. But $354 million. Rob, play this clip.
And it can be as much as $450 with interest, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead and play it.
Very sad day for, in my opinion, the country. A New York State judge just ruled, and he's crooked as you could get. And a lot of people expected something like this, but not for the amount. But this is a very dishonest man. This is a man that's been overturned already on this case 4 times. But a crooked New York State judge just ruled that I have to pay a fine of $355 million for having built a perfect company. Great cash, great buildings, great everything. It affects New York. It's mostly talking about New York, where we have a totally corrupt attorney general. She campaigned on the fact that I will get Trump, I will get Trump. Everybody's seen it. Letitia James, they've all seen it. Well, we'll be appealing, but more important than that, this is Russia, this is China, this is the same game. All comes out of the DOJ, it all comes out of Biden. It's a witch hunt against his political opponent, the likes of which our country has never seen before. You see it in third.
Can you go to the tweet? For some of you guys that are wondering, what does this really mean? Let me kind of break it down for you mathematically. This is purely math, formula, numbers, so you know how this thing works. So let's go through it. If you can open it up and zoom in a little bit. Let's do the math, okay? President Trump has been ordered to pay $83.3 million. That's for the what's the girl's name? Whatever her name is.
The crazy blonde
yeah.
chick. Psycho.
83 points. What's her name?
Stormy
No, not
Daniels.
Stormy Daniels.
I'm sorry,
The other
Eugene
one.
It was the other lady.
Eugene Carroll.
Exactly.
Psycho.
$83.3 million for Eugene Carroll and $354 million for this inflating your net worth. It's a combination of combined for $437 million, including interest. It could be another $100 million. His net worth is estimated to be between $2 to $2.6 billion. That's estimated to be 21 to 27% of his net worth. However, experts have claimed that Trump has somewhere between $600 to $700 million in cash. Trump himself has said he only has $400 million in cash. I know only sounds like, well, this guy's a rich guy. Not in this kind of a context. This may seem like a lot of money to the average person, but not when you're being asked to pay $537 million in damages and interest. This doesn't include the legal fees that have been piling up, as well as the fines his 2 sons received. If he chooses to appeal, he would have to secure a bond by putting up 10% of the total amount owed, which would be $44 million, which he may not get back. In other words, this nonsense decision, an insane dollar amount by the judge, could deplete his savings anywhere from minus $137 million to $163 million. Love or hate him, this is what it means. 30 years from now, a woman can come out and falsely claim allegations against you, and if the judge hates your politics, they will believe her and make up any number to destroy your life savings. And number 2, if you build your wealth through real estate and pay back all your commitments to banks, buyers, and sellers, a judge who hates your politics could make up any number to deplete your life savings and prevent you from doing business. So what does this mean to capitalists and those with aspirations to run in the future? Number 1, scare the crap out of great future candidates. Number 2, eliminate anyone's family from supporting their father or mother from running. Number 3, distance family members from those who chose to run to avoid being sued. Notice which of Trump's kids got sued and who didn't, who distanced themselves. Make the candidate rethink why they ever chose to run in the first place and ruin the lifestyle of the rich and famous they once had. Or last but not least, it could energize an entire new generation who love America to realize how much trouble she's in to fight like hell and defend the values this nation was built on. This requires a certain level of courage that words can't describe. This won't be a fight for everyone. You're going to have a few screws missing in this fight, but what is freedom worth to you? That's the most important question one has to ask. God is good. Future looks bright. That's what this really means. And the audience reacted to it. Roll up a little bit on this tweet. The amount of commentary that this brought up and talking about it was absolutely wild. Tom, you see something like this. Okay, from one end, politically, from another end, business-wise, from third, as a state, how does this impact politics, states, and business?
This is a political decision because you just look at 3 facts. 1, were all the loans legally, obtained? Yes. Were all the loans paid off? Yes. So were any banks defrauded? Nope. So if the banks were defrauded, so the federal government didn't bail out any banks the way they did, from coast to coast in 2008? No banks were defrauded. No taxpayer money went there. They're claiming that he inflated his net worth to get loans. You know what? Everybody in America that's got rental housing that rounds up, you put your say you put $100,000 as your income, and that's true, but then you add $40,000 for your bonus, but you haven't got your bonus set this year. You're doing the same thing. You don't have that bonus yet. Do you see what I mean? So every American that's ever filled out a form that estimates, well, my estimated bonus this year would be 40. And well, what are your other homes worth? Other assets you have? Well, according to appraisals and stuff, but the market's up about 5%. So I think those homes are about worth $500 a piece that I bought for $430 a year ago. This is how real estate works. There's a lot of estimates in real estate. That's why you have appraisers. That's why you have underwriters that review all those things. This is what's called a victimless crime. I believe this is going to be appealed, and I believe this could get to the U.S. Supremes because there are a ton of people in New York. And people can Google after the podcast, the mark-to-market laws, where the big holders of commercial real estate have to mark the value to market. And there's a lot of things happening that they don't like this year in commercial real estate. But this is a political decision. It's a victimless crime. All the loans were repaid. Not a penny of taxpayer money went to any banks or Trump himself. And they're choosing to use this to go after him. And just go look at it. The Attorney General made it a campaign promise. Okay, very political. And then this judge basically went out and said that I'm here for justice. So when you look at all this and then you see the outcome, so a political candidate got a victimless crime. Look at the people, and I know we're going to cover a story in a minute, who are coming out and saying, wait a minute, this is weird, because there's precedents hitting other people.
What do you think?
Tom, amazing points. And I think, Pat, this is election interference that started from before he came into office, and it's still going how many years? 7 years later, okay? His son, Don Jr., actually posted something very interesting yesterday. He said they've arrested Donald Trump so far 4 times. They've given him 91 charges. They fined him, and thanks for Adam saying it's going to be $500 million before a single Jeffrey Epstein client has even been arrested. Isn't that really interesting? They're going after this guy. I mean, maybe if he did go to the island, he'd be untouchable at this point. But when I see this, when I see everything that's happening right now, I lose all faith in the legal system. And you nailed it, Pat, when you said, I hope Americans, the average American, is paying attention. If they could do this to a United States president, okay, you're nothing to them. You're legal people that are in court, and if they could do that to him publicly and do all this, you are a speck of sand in the universe. You're nothing, and it's a scary thing if they could do this in front of the public eye, and we all know what's going on. For the average Joe that's going to court, you have zero chance. If they want you, especially now with this political thing, they got you.
So ultimately, this just seems like political overkill. So what do we mean? This attack, it's more than just on Trump. It's on real estate in general. So I tend not to focus on what the Trump loyalist sycophants who Trump can't do anything wrong whatsoever. Everything he does is perfect. I tend not to listen to them because they're completely dug in, and then whatever Trump does, it's completely innocent. He can't do anything wrong. I tend to listen. I certainly don't listen to the far left, people that hate Trump and don't think he can't do anything right. I tend to look at people in the middle. So when you see someone like Kevin O'Leary, who has not been a Trump fan, give a scathing rebuke on this. When you hear people in New York who have been competitors to Donald Trump for decades, and they say things like, yeah, I'm no fan of Donald Trump, but this is a complete assault on the real estate business. As Kevin O'Leary says, this is one of the 11 sectors in the S&P 500. It's pretty scary. Look at the evidence. You know, you did a video a couple weeks ago where you were at the amazing $18 million property at Mar-a-Lago. The only problem with that was it's probably worth hundreds of millions of dollars, because in real estate, you look at comps, and all the properties around Mar-a-Lago, which are not income producing assets, are worth $25, $50, $100 million, and at no way, shape, or form to the level of magnitude of what is Mar-a-Lago. So this just seems like political overkill. It seems like, well, it doesn't seem like, we know that Letitia James, Democrat, here's this video right here, PBD. You said, what were the numbers you quoted? You said it's either 18 million
Go ahead and play.
or 180 million. What was the numbers?
How much is this property?
between 18 million to $1.5 billion.
Sorry.
If you ask a judge in New York, 18 million. If you ask everybody in real estate in the area, they're going to say $1.5 billion.
Right.
So-
sorry, I undervalued it much like
Yeah.
Trump undervalued some of his
It's
properties.
kind of funny. In Ukraine, they have the same range when they do casualty analysis.
But Adam, isn't
Yeah,
it? Isn't
but
it?
the-
Adam, and those guys that you're talking about in New York, they're scared
Yeah.
because it could happen to them too, right?
Well, exactly, because at this point, you have to put political partisanship aside and say, all right, what's business? We could probably play this clip from Kevin O'Leary, but he gives a scathing rebuke. He basically calls New York, specifically California as well, loser states.
Sure.
He says, why would I ever invest in this state? No wonder how much money left New York during COVID. $25 billion, $35 billion in tax revenue. So despite you not liking Trump, anyone who believes in the rule of law, believes in the actual doing business in states, is going to be shocked and appalled by some of these
Play
rules.
this clip. Play this clip real quick, Kevin O'Leary.
This award, I mean, just leaving the whole Trump thing out of it and seeing what occurred here, and I'm no different than any other investor. I'm shocked at this. I can't even understand or fathom the decision at all. There's no rationale for it. And so let me give you a real-time experience I'm having regarding this, and I'm not the only one. It doesn't matter what the governor says. New York was already a loser state. Like California is a loser state.
Nice.
There are many loser states because of policy, high taxes, uncompetitive regulation. It was already on the top of the list of being a loser state. I would never invest in New York now, and I'm not the only person saying that. And here's a real-time situation. In development in real estate right now, the hottest asset class is very high-end data centers. They cost anywhere from $2.5 to $3.5 billion each. They're very expensive. They require low power. You need permits, but most of the major institutions in the world need more data centers, and that's why developers like me are doing this. Now, you need power. So New York has Niagara Falls. Normally, you'd consider that to put in one of these facilities, create 400 jobs, 5 more jobs for each of one of those for auxiliary services. I can't go to New York. So I'm going to Oklahoma, North Dakota, West Virginia. Governor Stitt, Kevin Stitt, my staff have met with him. Governor Burgum, the same thing. Governor Justice.
Burgum.
Those are winner states. They don't do things like this. I have to syndicate that debt and all that equity. We're talking billions of dollars here. Do you think any foreign institution or any private equity firm or any pension fund would touch New York? No. And that's why New Yorkers should be concerned. The fine people of New York.
So he makes a very good point. I'll tell you a couple things on what everybody said here. So, Tom, you talked about how you're going and getting a credit card. What's your annual salary? Roughly $300,000. What's your this? My net worth is roughly $1.8 million. Whatever the numbers you're putting up there, right? You're estimating. Okay. If you're selling a business, when you go through selling a business, what do? They ask you, what's your EBITDA? Okay. And you'll say, well, we make around $5 million. Okay, so you're saying you make $5 million. That's the number, right? Okay, that's phase 1 of the conversation. Okay, phase 2 of the conversation is, hey, NDAs. Let's see your pitch deck a little bit more deeper. Phase 3. Now we want to do diligence. Now we want to actually see your numbers with your accountants on what they came up with. Here's what we have. Phase 4. If it gets to a point that they're cutting the check that's going to be over 9 figures, we're talking 100 million plus. You know what they do? There's something called quality of earnings. What is quality of earnings? It's called Q of E. The seller spends, how much money do we spend the first time? $200,000 the first time.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, so you spend $200,000. An independent accounting firm comes and does your quality of earnings. They stay at your office anywhere between 2 to 8 weeks, and they go through everything that you have. Then they come back and say, no, it's not $5 million. It's $3.6 million. Or they'll say, it actually is $5 million. Or they'll say, it's actually $5.7 million. But that's the quality of earnings after somebody professionally in accounting firm goes and does that. It's the same exact thing. Now, if you choose to buy my company at 30x my EBITDA, and you pay whatever, let's say you pay $150 million, right? Where maybe the market is 15x EBITDA, which you should have only paid, what, $75 million. Whose fault is that? The buyer's fault. You made the offer. What do you mean, he inflated whatever he did? Yeah, totally get it. But this is a part about the buyer and the seller. It's absolutely ridiculous. So let me talk to the business people in New York real quick and kind of taking a different perspective. If you're in New York and you choose to stay in New York, to keep doing business in New York, here's what you have to keep in mind. What you're telling New York politics, because Hochul came out, and I don't know if you guys saw what Hochul said, if you have the clip. Hochul came out and said, this is not something that's going to hurt the business people of New York, because the business people of New York would never do anything like this. This is more for Trump because of it. What did Trump do? Go ahead. Break it down. Tell us. Tell us what Trump did, Hochul. Go break it down for us. No, what she's telling you to the business people of New York, you know what she's telling you? She's telling you you're a little boy and you will never talk politics that opposes them, and that's why you're not afraid of. That's why they're not afraid of you, because they see you as a little boy. As a little boy that won't say anything to mommy and daddy because God forbid, because you're a little boy who stays in New York. They don't fear you. That's what they're telling you. And Kevin O'Leary said it straight. Him and I don't have the best relationship together. We don't have a relationship, but he's 100% right. You people who stay in New York, who are business people, who are okay with this, you have one of three choices. One, it's called flight, freeze, fight. Pick and choose. You flight, come to Florida. Bad news for the people in Florida. I know you want to buy a house. Valuation just went up. Okay, it went up because they're going to, specifically for the higher market, not the low market, that's going to stay. If you have a $20 million house, it's officially a $22 million house because of this stupid decision. 10% overnight, my estimation. Again, to the Hochul people in New York and that judge in New York, my estimation, okay, is what I'm saying to you. You have three choices, business people in New York. You're either part of the flight community, okay, which flight community is going to go to a different place, because if that place doesn't value you, come on down to Florida. Number two, you're part of the freeze community. You know what the freeze community is? The people that shut their mouth, become little boys and don't say anything because God forbid they come after you and they find out what you did. And you know everybody has something in their closet. You know you got something in the closet. What's yours? Your closet may be, a certain dealing that you did. Your closet may be a business deal you were part of. A girl, a something, a party, a cocaine, a past, a gambling habit. Everybody who has done business doesn't walk on water. There's something that you went through in the past when you were 18 years old, 22 years old, 17 years old. Heck, today, 12 years old. They will come back for you. They're going to find something, and they're going to come back for you. And last but not least, to the third community, if you're saying, Pat, I'm not leaving New York. You don't want to leave New York? I don't want to leave New York. No problem. Then fight. Get out there and say something like this. I cannot stand. Say it. Donald Trump, if you don't like Trump. But this is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm going to get behind this because this cannot happen. And talk to 50 other people, 100 other people, and say, if you love New York and you don't fight, you're okay with people leaving because they're going to leave. The policies in New York just officially told you they hate capitalists. They hate job creators. They hate people in real estate who politically are on the opposite side. That's what just happened to New York with these policies. So guess what? If you're part of the community that you can compromise your values and principles and just stay there because you just want to make money because money is your God, more power to you, brother. I'm not like that, and not a lot of people are like that in New York either. The men I know in New York, the women I know in New York with a lot of pride, they're either going to fight and they're going to say this, I'm out of here. I'm going to go to a different state that's going to appreciate me creating business. This is one of the most ridiculous, pathetic things I've seen done in business, which sets a precedent. And if this stays, it's going to be applied in other places. FYI, this is not just going to be a New York thing. Watch this happen in California when somebody decides to go up against an opponent. This becomes a business model. If they win, it is a business model coming to every blue state near you. If you're in a blue state, this is officially a format they will use to destroy you. One, they're not going to realize long-term they're going to lose. They're not going to win long-term, just so everybody knows this. Policies like this, long-term, you don't win. You win short-term, you don't win long-term. They're going to get their asses handed to them long-term. Why? Because there's a couple things that they fear, and that fear is always going to be men and women who believe in a higher power, God, men and women who have hope, and men and women who have faith, and men and women who have fight. Those people are not going away. You're just waking their asses up even more. And we come in many different shapes and forms. Some of us are white. Some of us are black. Some of us are Asian. Some of us are Middle Eastern. Some of us are 22. Some in our 30s. Some of them are 40. Some in our 50s. Some of them are billionaires. Some millionaires. Some only make 100 grand a year. Some poor. Some married. Some divorced. Some Christian. Some Scientologists. Some Muslim. Some atheists. But you just woke some of these guys' asses up that are going to come for you. And it's not the way you think they're going to come for you, but you're still going to lose. Legacy for some of the folks that are doing what they're doing in New York is absolutely going to be embarrassing. Someone in Hochul, someone in this judge's legacy is going to look back and say, that guy was my grandfather? What a sham. What an embarrassment. What an embarrassment that they don't want to take your last name because of what you guys did in New York. So, great thing about, bad ideas, sometimes it takes a few years to get exposed. Sometimes it takes a couple years for people to realize how terrible it was. This is going to take a couple years. But for me, to the people in New York, the fighters that I know that I talk to on a regular basis, the business people, the fighters, you say you're a fighter, show up and fight. Show up and say how you don't feel good about what just happened right now. Don't just do it privately in these private equity dinners that you go to and these VC dinners you go to because you're so cool and you have these dinners. Speak up. Speak up and say something. You know who you are? The players. Say something. If you love New York, say something. If you don't, you love money. Pick and choose. You're going to put whatever your next hand is, you play, you're showing your hand to the world where your pride lies. In money, in the parties, in success, in state, in heritage, in country, in God. Tell us what you really stand for, because the rest of the world is waiting to find out. There's a reason why some people are moving to these great states like Tennessee, like Florida, like Texas, because that kind of stuff cannot be tolerated in some states where they say, let's go equally compete and see what's going to happen there. Anyways, that was my thoughts on this. It's very frustrating seeing something like this take place. And more importantly, it's even more frustrating for the people that sit there quietly. Forget about the political people. I'm not surprised by them. I'm surprised by the people that are sitting quiet, not doing anything about it.
I'll ask you one follow-up.
Yeah.
I mean, very rarely does people get fired up first thing in the morning. Usually it kind of takes you some time, or maybe I make a comment that gets you worked up. But what was it about this specific story, this specific ruling, this specific ex-president that has you just fired up right now?
It's not a president thing. You have to realize, to me, I fought more for others than I fought for myself. And I think we need to be like that. Flag carriers need to rise up. This is an era where we need flag carriers in America. Flag carriers don't just live for themselves. Almost most people just fight for themselves, and that's fine. And then you have the leaders who fight for others when something just doesn't make sense. If you're someone that's at a bar and a girl is being slapped in the face by her husband, you don't do anything, you're a clown.
Yep.
Okay? You're a clown. If you go up there and you say, hey, bro, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm not comfortable with this guy. Can you guys go over there? Can you please go over there? Johnny, can I talk to you? What happened? You won't even believe what I found out. She's talking to her ex-husband. Bro, let's go for a walk, you and I. Come with me over here. That's your job as a flag carrier. But if you walk by, you are just as much as part of the problem as what's going on with that guy slapping a girl. To me right now, America needs to stand up and realize this whole concept of America's the greatest country in the world. You cannot let this happen to it. Period. You cannot let this happen to it. You have to protect it. Protecting it is going to take a lot of risk. And how many messages do we get when people say things like this? Man, I'm in Carbone. This one guy comes up, he knew you. I think you guys went to school or something together, and says, hey, man, I love the fact that you're talking on behalf of some of us that can't talk. Listen, everybody needs to talk right now. If you have influence of 3 people in your family, you have influence. If it's 20 people, talk. If it's 50 people, talk. If it's 1,000 people, talk. If it's 1,000,000 people, talk. If it's 1,000,000,000 people, talk. Do not be a coward and sit on the sidelines because you're worried about the friends you're going to lose, the contracts you're going to lose, the sponsorships you're going to lose. Just be respectful. Just be respectful. Because eventually logic is going to sink in and they're going to say, look, man, look what happened here with New York. What's his name? Eric Adams? Hey, what we're going to do is we're going to move some of the migrants into luxury buildings. You know what they say in New York? Here's what New York said. Hey, no. How about no?
Yeah.
How about no? I don't want these folks that are coming here that could be criminals. I don't know their background. You're not doing background checks. I don't want them to be living here. Facing community pushback, New York City mayor reverses plan to house migrants in luxury building. Reverses. So if people in New York fight this, imagine if all the PE guys, the major guys come out, the diamonds, everybody comes out united. We're not a Trump fan, okay? but we are against what just happened here. What if the judge has to reverse ruling on what just happened there? New York City Mayor Eric Adams faced community pushback. How many of these community people do you know, by the way, that you're listening to this? How many do we know? How many of them are famous? How many of them are big TikTokers, YouTubers? We don't know these guys. But community, we the people are more powerful than a Eric Adams, mayor of New York. So he says, face community pushback over plans to convert an abandoned luxury complex into a shelter for migrants, prompting a reversal. Residents expressed frustration over lack of communication and concerns about prioritizing migrants over local homeless populations, with Tiffany Fulton of Silent Voices United, Inc. stating, no, I don't agree with it. Turning it into a sanctuary for asylum seekers, knowing we have people right here that need space. Adams, now who is Tiffany Fulton? Can you pull up Tiffany Fulton? You ever heard of Tiffany Fulton?
Nope.
Do you follow her on Instagram?
Nope.
Do you follow her on TikTok?
Nope.
Do you follow her on Twitter? Have you seen videos of her? Go put Tiffany Fulton, New York, and go to images. I want to know what she looks like. I want to know what she looks like. Okay, guess what?
Go to her
She's so famous
Twitter.
that there's no one Tiffany Fulton there, but I actually want to give her credit.
Rob, Silent Voices. Tiffany
Silent
Fulton,
Voices.
Go to
United,
Silent
yeah.
Voices. Silent Voices. Silent Voices. Okay, go to it. Let's see what comes up. Is there a face for Tiffany? The second one said Tiffany. The second one said Tiffany. Let's see what she looks like. Is this the one, Silent Voices, New York?
She doesn't have a photo up.
I believe she's in the news clip that we do have, though.
Is her face in there?
Yes.
Can you pull it up? I want to see which one it is. I just want to see what she looks like. Fast forward to her talking. Is that her?
Agree with it turned into a sanctuary for asylum seekers. No, when we have people right here that
Let me
need
ask you,
space.
pause it right there. Who do you think she voted for?
Biden. 100%.
Who do you think she voted for? If you were a betting man,
Eric Adams and Joe Biden.
She voted for Eric Adams.
100%.
Okay, and guess what she's
Most
saying?
likely.
I am not for it.
Yeah.
I am not for it. What is that called? It's called community pushback reversal. A mayor publicly humiliated by somebody that probably voted for him is saying, no, Mayor Adams, we're not okay with this. I think more New Yorkers need to stand up and say we're not for what
The
just
most
happened.
powerful word that someone can say at some point is no. No, we're not just going to give $53 billion to illegal immigrants. No, we're not going to. How much is it?
$53 million.
$53 million. No, we're not just going to basically shut down our public schools so migrants could live there. No, we're not just going to give them public housing.
Yep.
No. And a lot of times it takes people like that. So some of the people that are most angry about what's going on in New York and some of these sanctuary cities, you know who it is? Black people.
Of
Because
course.
they're like, yo,
What the hell is going on?
can we get a little help over here for ourselves?
No.
While we're struggling out here, or even any type of people that are struggling right now, it's like you're basically disregarding your citizenry for people who are not even American. Vinny, go ahead. Go ahead.
And Rob has a video. Like with all the stuff that's happening in New York, okay, with all illegals, crime, the truckers want to with everything that's happening. I want to shift it to a lighter note. At least at the end of the day, guys, there's New Yorkers that genuinely care about the citizens, and they're out there giving meaningful and uplifting messages, especially about change. This is why New York is so good, Pat. Look at this guy and this guy's message really fast. You guys have no idea that I was going to play this. Go ahead, Rob, play that. This is New York. Look at this dude. Watch, Pat.
If you're serious about change, just know you're going to go through some uncomfortable situations. Stop trying to dodge the process, because in the long run, it's going to make you better. And don't forget that shit, you heard?
I mean, at least
These guys got a microwave for a head.
Say
bro.
what you want about New York.
Jack-o'-lantern
At
head.
least we still have people like that out there trying to give messages for change, because that's what needs to happen in New York. People need to change.
Let me go to the story here, and then I'm going to come
Helmet
to you
was
guys.
$50. Abandoned microwave was free.
Rob, you want to get that Bill Maher clip if you have it, Sanctuary City one. Bill Maher, reaction of sanctuary cities shows immigration isn't good for U.S. and with current system. Maher began by stating that some immigration is the lifeblood of the country. Later in the segment, CNN senior political commentator and former Obama advisor Van Jones stated, immigration is good for America. It's positive for America. Maher then responded, not the way we're doing it. If you have that clip, Rob, go ahead and play the clip if you do have it. Go for it. Is this the one? Is it okay? Go ahead. Go for it.
It would also allow, I would imagine, that sanctuary cities, the hypocrisy was exposed there, because when they started to send the immigrants to those cities.
Never mind.
I mean, Chicago.
Sure, New York, sure.
Some of the most liberal people are like, oh, this doesn't work for us.
Listen, you're right on that. But let me just say something here. People have been coming here and gaming our system. That is true. It's like somebody figured out a quasi-legal way to jump the turnstiles into the subway, and suddenly now the subway is full of people who didn't pay. That's what's going on at the border. People are jumping the turnstile, and you need to fix that. But to say that Joe Biden could do it unilaterally is just not, in fact, true. There are things he can do, but our asylum laws were passed by Congress. They were signed by the president. The courts have ruled. There is a chance to change it. I would love to see a smarter, better asylum process. I'd love the 6 months. I don't want people, waiting in vain with no ability to work. We could fix it. But here's the thing. Democrats gave up almost everything we care about to get something done, and Republicans slammed the door in our face. It is now the Republicans.
That's why this guy won this race.
We need
nobody applauded. Notice that.
And if I could just correct, and now obviously other Congresses have said the president can stop illegals coming in, but I do want to correct one canard, because this is a big argument on the pro-open border side, and that is that the economy is better, the GDP goes up because we have more. No, that's because there are more people. That doesn't help us here. So, for example, say I move into your guest room. I will be contributing nothing. Your cable bill is going to go up. Your water bill is going to go up. Your heating bill is going to go up. But the GDP of your household is going to go way up, because that's all an economy is, more people. So immigrants coming in and taking healthcare services, food services, welfare, buying things, even if it isn't much, that drives the economy up. That doesn't help the people already here. It's bad for you.
There are
it's
winners.
Good for Ann.
Well, like any big issue, there's winners and losers. It's true. The people who are just above immigrants on the economic scale, they always get fucked when immigrants come into the country. But that's
everybody, all taxpayers.
Not everybody.
No, this wasn't a clip. There's a clip that says immigration is good. It says not the way we're doing it, right? That was a clip. But so what are your thoughts when you see this here with immigration?
But the fact that Van Jones, and I have another clip that I'm going to play later from Pat, it's just stop BSing yourself and BSing the rest of the nation. Just say we messed up. We had that attitude of bring everybody in. Oh, Trump's wrong about they're bringing in their worst, and they're bringing in rapists, and they're bringing in drug dealers, drugs. It was all true. And I hate to say we told you so, but he told you so. And now we're at the point of no return. It's not stopping. We still, to this day, as we all know, the border is wide open. Everybody's coming. And that's when they tried to play that whole, bring them to New York. It's backfiring. It's not working. But like you said, in 4 years, there's going to be over 20 to 22 million here. Guys, the damage is done. It's over.
Tom, thoughts?
We know what this was. This was an avowed plan. We've seen the numbers. Pat, you tweeted the numbers about these incredible numbers coming across the border. This was a plan to flood the mostly conservative southern states with immigrants to tip the voting rolls over time. And the southern governors started jumping into action, started saying, let's share the United States, okay, if we're all united, let's share some of this. And they started busing them into other cities, and all of a sudden Chicago and New York are realizing, wait a minute, this isn't isolated. Well, hang on, New York, you lost electoral votes in the last census. We're trying to help you out and get those electoral votes back, baby. Here you go. And so what you see here is the plan to make a permanent, liberal, dependent, entitlement-driven populace that would be majority proof in election is backfiring as Americans are going, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? And even if there was some modicum of heart, and remember, Jimmy Carter had a modicum of heart, but he didn't realize that Castro gamed his ass and emptied the prisons with the Muriel boat lift. That's what happened. And so what do I think here? This whole thing is backfired, and now the only thing they can do, well, the Republicans slammed the door shut. No, they didn't. You slammed the door shut. You ran to the Justice Department and told Texas you can't put barbed wire. That border belongs to the United States, not to the state of Texas. So you can't put barbed wire on that border. Texas is like, I'm trying to protect citizens of Texas, who, by the way, are also citizens of the United States. So this whole thing is backfiring. And when you see someone like Bill Maher, he's actually pointing out that it's backfiring. And I don't care if this was the wrong clip, because I love it when Van Jones has to face logic and arithmetic and math. Those are two things he seems to hate, logic and math. So sorry, Van.
By the way, we're scheduling a visit to go to the Eagle Pass ourselves. We're putting a crew together, a very prominent crew. You were part of it yesterday when we were having a conversation with the three folks, and we're going to go see for ourselves what things are taking place, and we'll give our POV from being there. But there's a couple things I'm staying on this here. Texas Governor Abbott announces border military base to combat flow of migrants. Okay, that's another person that's sitting there saying, look, man, we can't do this anymore. We're not getting into the military side. Greg Abbott announces plan to establish a military base in Eagle Pass aimed at curbing illegal immigration, citing in Biden administration law border policy. The forward operating base to be built on 80-acre land along the Rio Grande will house up to 1,800 Texas National Guard soldiers and feature facilities for recreational chaplaincy, medical and psychological health. Governor Abbott underscores the significance of the base in bolstering border security operations, highlighting the challenges faced by dispersed National Guard units. He states, before now, the Texas National Guard had been scattered across the entire region in cramped quarters away from fellow soldiers. The new base aims to improve conditions for soldiers and enhance response to capabilities at a border crisis. Adam.
Look, the hardest thing that anyone can do is vocally say, I was wrong. My bad, I had it wrong. Because the last thing that you should be doing is doubling down on nonsensical, inaccurate opinions. And everyone has this problem. Where am I going with this? A lot of people were misled that walls are racist, or that IDs are racist, or that Trump basically calling, they're not bringing their best.
They're really not.
These are bad hombres. What'd he say famously? They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. And some, I guess, are good people.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that he was actually right.
Weird.
And, the media spun it as walls are racist. How could you do this? How could you mandate that someone needs an ID to vote? IDs are racist. And a lot of people hear this. And if they're anti-Trump, they're like, well, yeah, I guess a wall is racist. But those same people, especially rich people, have walls around their house or have gates around their house. Or somehow, no matter how poor or rich you are, you're able to get an ID. You're able to drive with an ID. You're able to go to a liquor store with an ID. So why ID is racist? So this narratives that are shoved down people's throat, and then when you're just clinging to your tribalist beliefs, and you're like, well, obviously Trump is racist because he wants to build the wall at the southern border. Anyone who's looking at it just completely unbiased must be able to say, we used to have 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people come through our country a year. Now it's 2 million, 3 million a year. What is happening here? And it'd be one thing to say, well, Venezuelans are fleeing Venezuela. I get it, okay? We see what's going on in El Salvador. All right, we got to get it. Why are there Chinese people coming into our country? Why are the Iranian people coming to our country? Why are the Afghani people coming to our country? What is going on here right now? And it doesn't take a genius to be like, something smells fishy around.
Yeah, what do you mean? And you killed it. You nailed it. And by the way, known terrorists going, soon you will know they're warning us that they're going to
the guy from Azerbaijan.
Yeah,
you will know my name.
Yeah, I'm so.
Buddy, why are you here in this country right now?
Weird, as if it's a plan. And by the way, these people like this, Van Jones, they could talk like this, and you nailed it, Adam. The guy is security, armed house. There's a gate. There's everything. It's not affecting them. They're not in the city. Bill Maher is not in downtown L.A. with all the homeless and all the bums and all the crime. He's up in the hills. He's hiding up there with security. And he comes down and he does his okay show. And then he goes back up there. He's protected. These people are out of touch. Van Jones has no idea what the hell he's talking about, and I don't wish nothing upon anybody, but I can't wait till it starts getting so bad where you can't stop these millions, and they start going up in the hills.
As they say,
and
when
they start messing with your dumb ass.
Only when it happens to you do you start to give up.
Exactly.
Because what's happening in Texas is every day, every single week, every month, every year. All of a sudden, they show up in New York, the double bird, when they beat the shit out of the cops. We're like, hold on. Even Michael Rappaport was like, whoa.
What's going on?
We've gone a step too far.
Yeah.
Remember when I think it was DeSantis shipped people up to Martha's Vineyard?
And they were like, no.
And they're like, whoa.
Get the hell out of here.
We believed in sanctuary cities when it wasn't in our city. So it's a double standard and it's hypocrisy, and you got to call it out.
I think the military thing is brilliant. I think Enough is enough. We are literally, this administration with Mayorkas and Biden, all these morons, they are literally letting us get invaded. And now think about this. Besides them suing them for putting up barbed wire, which stopped the flow by 80%? Like it actually worked. It wasn't hurting the agents as they lied. But like now, now, just like Vivek said, put the we've gotten to the point where our own country has to individually put on National Guard to protect itself. So we are letting, the Biden administration is letting an invasion happen. But what are we even doing?
Here's the question, actually, and this is, I'll give Trump praise here, but also ask you guys a question. What's the likelihood this will be fixed? Because the resounding narrative, especially on the left, is that Trump doesn't want to fix this issue. Why? Because I alone can fix it. Because he wants to run but he wants to run on this. Mike Johnson, who is the Speaker of the House, allegedly, I think it's actually Donald Trump sort of running what he's doing. The resounding narrative is that Trump doesn't want to fix this because he wants a campaign on this issue.
So let me give you,
and that's political.
Let me give you my perspective on that. I don't think you're wrong that, that fix is going to be there. But if I was to give the president feedback, President Trump, there's nothing they can do right now to fix it. What's done is done. 1.9 million in 2021, 2.3 million, give or take, in 2022, 3.1 million in 2023. It's done. There is no fixing it. You think Biden's going to deport 7 million people, 8 million?
Not
so
even
meaning, even if they shut down the border and for the rest of the year they accept this many people coming through the border, it's still a problem because of what happened the last 3 years. So the problem is too deep that you can't fix it right now. The next person that becomes president, the prize is going to be the greatest deporter of all time, beating out Barack Obama's record.
The deporter-in-chief.
The deporter-in-chief is what's going to happen next. Tom, what are your thoughts on this here?
Well, the question you asked, you just read the story about Texas Governor Abbott, and I agree with the outrage that was articulated. But the question about Abbott, what do I think? I think he's doing the job he was elected to do. He was elected by the people of Texas to lead the state, protect the citizenry, and provide services for the citizenry. Those are the three things you do. You lead the state with programs that are necessary based on your current status. You protect the citizenry with law and order, proper regulations, all these kind of things that go there, proper ones. And you run the budget. And he's doing his job. He's doing what he was elected to do. And he's being impeded. The question, Tom, is
why didn't he do this 2 years ago? Why didn't he do this 3 years ago? Why didn't he do this a year ago? Why is he doing it now?
Well, about 2 years ago, he was busing people. I think this has been a progressive response by Governor Abbott.
You think he's working swiftly? You think he's moving swiftly?
No, I don't think he's moved swift enough. I think he's moved faster than others, but he was busing people out. He was raising the flag early, but could even Governor Abbott reacted quicker? Yes.
But here's the thing. You talk about the damage has been done, which I agree 100%. But what about the damage that is to come? Because think about it. Now they're going to be done. This 4 years is done. Let's say a Republican comes into office. What about that Middle Eastern guy that's promising some terrorism? What about those Chinese guys that are here that have said that they're trying to go after our infrastructure and take down the grid? The damage has been done, but what's going to come of it? Whoever's the next president is going to have to deal with, oh, shit, a terrorist attack. Oh, and it's going to happen under their watch. And it's going to, no matter what, you look bad for what the presidency before you did. That's what I'm worried about, Tom, because that's the real thing. That's not fear-mongering.
I agree with you when you're saying that, hey, look, the damage is done, so it's really going to take the next president, if it's Trump, or clearly I don't think Biden's going to do it, to deport these people. But at the same time, how do you address the issue now? It's like the boat is sinking. We're not just going to buy a new boat. We got to fill the hole in the boat right now. So how do we grapple with that?
How do we? Who's we?
Well, Congress. Let's just say that.
How does Congress do this to fix it now? I mean, this is a thing that Congress and president need to be aligned on. They're not. The president is not doing anything about this here. How much attention do you think he's putting to this? If you were to put a value on their top 5, top 10 list, purely based on behavior. Okay, so for example, I can tell you hygiene is my top 5 priority as a man, but I smell like crap. Guess what? Yeah. I'm just saying hygiene, but I'm not really thinking about it. Exactly, slip service. So watch this. Based on how they're spending and investing money, do you think border is in their top 5?
No, I agree with you. Like when Biden said, he publicly said, if they brought the bill to my desk, I would sign it today. but based on the track record, it's not in his top 10, not even close.
He believes in
open border policies,
brother,
but it is on Congress to bring it to the president to sign. But let's see if he puts his money where his mouth.
But what's the point with Congress when they're coming out with a bill called the border bill, and it's $118 billion, of which only $20 billion is going to the southern border, of which $60 billion is going to Ukraine, and then they drop the $20 billion, call it $95 billion, and just flat out come out and say this is the money we're giving to Ukraine.
Wow.
They're telling you, the Biden administration, Schumer, Pelosi, AOC, the border at Ukraine and Russia is more important than the border of U.S. and Mexico, southern border.
Bingo.
They're flat out saying that, purely by behavior. Now,
but it's on Congress to propose the bill.
The president has
the president from the top has the ability to persuade Congress and say, hey, listen, what's going on at the southern border is a crisis. I'll give you one thing here for you to be thinking about. What's the one thing everybody forgot about that happened a year ago that everybody was expecting the president to do that he just did this week?
When he went to East Palestine?
When did East Palestine happen?
2 years ago?
A year ago.
A year ago. Do you know when everybody was saying, when is he going to go? When is he going to go? We talked about a year ago on the podcast. You know when he visited? This week.
Yeah.
Last week.
Well, in his defense, he thought he was visiting the actual Palestine and seeing Gaza. So we got a little
look at this.
derailed.
February 3rd of 2023.
Yeah.
Do you know when can you get the exact date? There's a video of him at East Palestine.
No, he was there this past weekend.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
So he was there this past weekend. What's the point? That was an issue that America forgot about. First of all, either his camp is trying to get him to lose, to bring it a year later to go there so he looks like a terrible leader, or they're delusional or absolutely not paying attention to what's going on and going and visiting now. So what's my point here?
Yeah.
My point is the border's an issue. It has been an issue for 3 years. When's the last time he went to the border? I'm actually curious.
Did he even go?
Our fearless Vice President Kamala Harris, isn't she the border czar?
When did he go to the border?
I don't know.
When did he go to Ukraine? When did he go to Israel?
He's been a bunch.
When has he been to the border? Oh, so the U.S. border, who is more important to protect us than this?
Joe Biden tours El Paso for the first border visit of his presidency. That was January 8th. So he went there a year ago.
So a year ago is what? 2 years after we already have 1.9 million, 2.2 million. Then he goes.
Scroll down, by the way. You can see him meeting with Governor Abbott. A lot of people don't know that Governor Abbott is actually in a wheelchair.
He is. Yeah, he had an incident that happened to him a few years. I think it's a tree or something that happened. It's a terrible story. But yeah, you talk about if this is a priority. How much are you talking? How often are you talking about it?
Yeah.
How often are you driving it?
His priority was an open border policy, and this is why
he reversed
in
everything.
Many circles, Biden is unvotable because he has basically been detrimental
not
to
according.
American.
Watch your language. Yeah. Not according to these experts. I think you guys are. You have to pay attention to these. Rob, I'm going to send this to you.
Let's see.
Okay, according to these experts, that you guys are not paying attention to these experts who are historians.
Historians?
And they follow who is the greatest president of all time. Rob,
let's see what
I'm
we
going to
got
send
here.
this to you. By the way, before you pull this up, Rob, don't pull it up, okay? I want you to look at it first.
All right.
I want you to say who is number one. Who did they have on the list as the greatest president of all time?
This is them?
This is them. This is the
Barack Obama.
The experts.
So it's usually Washington and Lincoln.
Okay,
They're usually
so
right at the top.
You're right. Lincoln is number one. Who do you think? Where do you think Biden ranks out of top 40, whatever, 46? 46 it is. Where do you think he
Who did
ranks?
the list you're talking about?
The New York Times leftist.
No,
who
these
did
are,
the list?
These are leftists. Of course.
Five.
Where's Biden?
Fun.
No.
Leftists or liberals?
Whatever.
There's a difference.
They're liberals. Where do you think Biden ranks?
They probably got him top 20.
Okay, so you're saying top 20.
I'm saying 5. They love him.
What are you going to say? Where do you think they ranked him?
I mean, in every circle I run in, just understand that they
love him.
There's a phrase that we say. It goes Washington, Lincoln, Biden. Everyone knows that, guys.
Well, where do you think they ranked him?
If they have him in the top 10, I'm going to fucking freak out. That's insane.
Look at how much he's laughing.
What do you think it should be? Where do you think it should be?
Obviously, somewhere in the lower third of
now,
presidents.
so this is Biden. Where do you think they have Trump in as a top 50?
If you got Biden,
top 47?
if you got Biden,
well, there's only been 46 presidents.
46 presidents.
They probably have him as number 47
Trump will be
because he's only been 46. So they probably have Trump
So you're
below
saying 46.
Yeah.
You're saying last place.
I'm saying they probably have Trump below
What do you
last
think
place.
they have? What do you think they have Trump at, Tom?
Called retribution.
You got Biden ahead of me, I'm gonna have an aneurysm.
So, but what do you think they have? I'm actually curious.
These liberals, they probably put him at dead last.
Okay. All right. So can you go pull it up, Rob?
I can't wait.
Although they really hated
poll
Reagan,
ranks Biden as the 14th best president of all time with Trump last.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Rob, can you pull up the ranking? Because I sent you the link with the ranking as well. If you look at your phone, I send you 2 links. The second link actually shows the ranking. If you go on this article, it'll actually link to it as well. If you go, if you have it already, the way you can, but that's even faster.
Unbelievable.
No, but you have to see where they ranked everybody. That's what's comical about it. Watch this.
I have a feeling I'm about
so
to
go
be
to that
really
one right
pissed
there.
off.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. They're right there. Number 1 is Lincoln, then it's FDR, then Washington. Look, FDR got ahead of Washington.
Oh, my God.
The guy that came out with all the entitlement programs and started all the taxes
Teddy
is second
Roosevelt,
place.
our guy. Bull Moose
Teddy
Party
Jefferson
out
Trump. Look at
Rough
Obama.
Riders.
Look at
Obama.
By the way, Obama moved up 9. 9.
Horrible.
Eisenhower, LBJ is 9th
How is
place.
LBJ above
Reagan
Kennedy?
is 16.
Reagan after Biden, and he ended the Cold War. He recovered the economy.
Is that Ulysses S. Grant?
Oh my!
Reagan is
Below
after
Biden? Come on, guys. This just this
Reagan
is laughable.
just turned over in his grave and said, "What the heck?"
Woodrow Wilson, who fumbled World War I, is ahead of Reagan.
Okay, by the way, look at keep going there. So Carter is 22nd.
Carter is 22nd.
Keep going. Look at this. 427th. Okay, keep going.
my
Keep
God,
going.
this is
Where's James Buchanan? Because he's
44.
commonly known as the
44.
worst president ever.
But Pat,
Oh, look, right above Trump, Buchanan.
hold on. Did they do this as a spoof or this is real?
No, this is
real deal.
Oh, no. Go
Okay,
to the
is
top.
that
So
Andrew Johnson or LBJ? It's got to be Andrew Johnson.
Oh my God, this is brilliant.
Franklin
This is-
Pierce,
I thought this was a
Benjamin
joke.
Harrison, William Henry Harding.
Rob, go all the way to the top.
Millard
Let's see
Fillmore.
who did it. So go all the way to the top. Yeah, so the presidential projector expert survey was conducted online via Qualtrics from November 15th to December 31st. Respondents included current and recent members of the President's and Executive Political Section of the American Political Science Association, which is the foremost organization of social science experts in presidential politics, as well as scholars who had recently published peer-reviewed academic research in key. These are not regular people. This is academia. 525 respondents
and they
were invited to participate,
But wait,
of which
how many?
154 did.
154.
154 usable responses.
Yeah,
So-
so you know what that means? Even though the brilliant people, they all suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. How do you put him dead last? That's unbelievable.
Can you just go to that ranking again? Because there's something needs to be established here. Okay,
400 of them
understand
didn't
that
participate.
Go to the very bottom. Just understand who James Buchanan was. James Buchanan was pro-slavery. He was the president before Abraham Lincoln. He's commonly known. I think he was president from like 1857 to 1861. Fact check me on this one. Yeah, 1857. He was running on the Let's Keep America Slaves Again. That was his campaign. So obviously Abraham Lincoln, he was one of the founders of the Republican Party, came out, Civil War, Nikki Haley, we all know that Civil War was counted because of slavery, hot tip, bing, bing. But James Buchanan was throughout history known as the worst U.S. president because he basically sided with the Confederacy, was anti-American, was pro-slavery. Is there anything worse than that? Now, I know that Trump is Hitler these days, but yada, yada, yada. But this, to me, is completely laughable.
I mean, look at the photo. I mean, dude, 1800s, everybody had slaves. Look at him. Look at that guy. That doesn't say slaves. He didn't want to get rid of the slaves. I mean, everybody had a slave.
So him and Trump right there.
So
But
Trump is worse. Trump is worse than that
guy. To my friends on the left, this makes you lose credibility.
Oh my God.
It makes you look completely biased. So, you might be
get
upset
invited
about
to the parties. They get invited to the parties. That's
And then
what's
if you go
important.
into deeper history, there's also things about James Buchanan and young boys. You can find that too. And
Why
that,
does Tom always know these salacious stories about
it's
young boys?
Pretty terrible.
All right, let's go.
Tom, when you were in high school with James Buchanan, what was that like?
So stupid.
No. It's no.
He was going to go there, but he's like, it's not a good one. All right, so let's go through a couple other stories here.
You can bait me, princess, but you're not going to do it with that one.
Here's Rob, can you pull up the Archdiocese of New York condemns scandalous sacrilegious behavior following trans activist funeral. And even AOC responded to this and gave a message about this. So let's go to this one here, Rob, if you can pull it up. Here we go. So in a statement, Reverend Enrique Salvo wrote that the funeral of transgender activist Cecilia Gently was an outrage. The cathedral only knew that family and friends were requesting a funeral mass for Catholic, had no idea our welcome and prayer would be degraded in such a sacrilegious and deceptive way. The funeral, which drew well over 1,000 people, sparked outrage after the funeral was focused on praying for transgender rights and access to gender-affirming health care. One video eulogy, which called the transgendered activist the mother of all. Well, just play the clip, Rob. If you got,
you haven't seen this.
No, I haven't seen this clip.
It's gonna piss you
Saint
up.
Cecilia.
Yeah, it's
this guy goes off.
This is inside the church.
This is inside the church.
Inside of a church.
In St. Patrick's Church. Yes, in New York
By the way,
City.
that guy looks like the Undertaker. Go ahead, play.
No,
it.
no.
Make sure you show the big black man woman as well.
No, it's one of the village people.
This whore.
This whore. Oh my God.
This great whore.
Yep.
Demons in church.
Saint Cecilia. Mother of all whores.
Is that the devil in the back? Look at the guy wearing the red suit. Is that the devil? Look at the priest. What? Dude. I wouldn't be if lightning struck in there. I wouldn't be surprised. What blasphemous shit is this?
Do you have any other speeches?
I mean, just when you thought New York couldn't get any better.
I do have AOC on the House floor discussing the woman that they're discussing.
God. This is New York, right? Anything else? New York?
By the way,
these are the inmates running the asylum, ladies and gentlemen.
The life and
oh, there she is.
Of beloved Queens community leader Cecilia Gentili. Cecilia was a beacon of hope for so many communities in my district. She was only 26 when she fled Argentina to seek asylum in the United States. She arrived in New York City in 2003 and lived her truth as a trans woman.
Truth.
She was finally granted asylum in 2012 as well, and she devoted much of her life to uplifting our trans and undocumented.
So it was a guy,
by the way,
basically.
Yeah.
A guy that came and he was living his truth as an imaginary
Vinny, you've
girl.
dressed up as a trans person before.
For you.
You know what it's like to have a penis hanging down there, but claim you're a woman.
I appreciate
There's a big difference between the truth and my truth.
I still appreciate you for letting me live my truth on this.
Anytime you want to live your fake truth, you can live your fake truth on my
I'm going to
real
Starbucks.
show.
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But is there anything more palpable and just completely visible of trans activists in the holiest church in New York City, St. Patrick's Cathedral, evangelizing whores? The queen of whores.
Yeah, mind you,
is there anything more sacrilegious and blasphemous than this?
What about
this is when they say that there's a lack of God and a lack of community and a lack of religion, especially in some of these cities, and then they just talk about overrunning.
I think talk about tolerant Christians though. That the priest is just sitting there.
Yes.
You know what I would have done if I was a priest?
You probably slap her in the face,
bro. I would have shut that entire. I would have been slapping guy, girl, whatever the hell that they're saying that they are. Everybody would have been out of that church, bro. Like what are we doing?
Well,
are you crazy?
There's two things going on here, right? Maybe three, but there's two I think of. First of all,
penis and balls. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
First of all, the Catholic Church was asked, "Hey, a person has passed away. Can we use the facility to have a celebration of life, funeral, or whatever it is, eulogy?" Apparently, they said yes. Point one. Point two. That wasn't the Catholic Church making those statements. That was a guy with a cowboy hat who apparently had some affiliation with the deceased, who came up and said a bunch of things at the microphone. And I've been to a few eulogies in my life, and there have been people that have said things at the microphone that, ministers in church wouldn't like to hear, recounting stories or things of people's lives. But you don't walk up in the middle of a eulogy, even though this one was raucous, and interrupt them after you gave them permission to use your facility. And if you gave them permission to use your facility and you didn't kind of check out what's going on there, then that's what you get.
Tom, I can't believe you're advocating for this.
Wait, hang on. You want? I'll take it one step further.
No,
I'll take it one step further.
You know what he's saying?
I'm
He's
trying to
saying they let-
understand
he's
it.
saying
They're
they
saying
let
that
them-
No.
if
He's
they
saying
allowed
it's
it-
not on the trans people. It's the fault of the church to
That's what-
allow for the
yes.
event to take place.
Yes.
He's putting the onus, like you're saying, if I was that priest, he's saying it's on him who allowed for this event to happen. You could say no, that this event cannot. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Yeah.
But hold on. Do you think
No,
that priest, that old priest that's sitting there just halfway passed out, thought that they were going to give a eulogy and chanting and calling this girl a whore? I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the like.
I'm pretty sure that's not what they thought when they said.
That's what I'm saying. So I
this
mean,
person in the community's passed away.
I'm pretty
we'd like to do a
sure.
funeral.
I'm pretty sure the priest knew. Okay, this is the trans, gay, LGBTQ community. One of us died. Can we please have the church? You think they had like a preset, like our notes? Okay, after the opening, say she was a whore. No, that's not.
The guy with the cowboy hat came up and said that in church. And
how about this? If a guy with a cowboy hat and cutoffs is like, I just want to come up here and say, no, you're not. I'm sorry, we're not. We can't do that today. I'm sorry.
They were lied to, they were misguided, and they were completely oblivious to the fact. They were told that this was a Catholic person who wanted to invite their family and friends to pay respects. And even the quote from the Cathedral,
a congresswoman will be speaking.
We're requesting a funeral mass for a Catholic, and we had no idea our welcome and prayer would be degraded in such a sacrilegious and deceptive way. This person, as it turns out, didn't believe in God. This person was not a Catholic. This person did not have religious viewpoints. This person was a transgender, my truth liver. They lied to the Archdiocese, and they didn't fact check them. They didn't vet them. They should have probably said, hold on, who is this person? Maybe you did a little bit of due diligence. Maybe a little. It's probably Googleable. So yes, this is on the church, but also the community completely lied to them. Of course. And then when they let them in, they literally just completely pissed all over the floor, so to speak.
They kicked open the door and
they
song,
could
"It's
care less.
raining men, hallelujah," and they all just ran in the church. That's pretty.
So
not good.
Both
Not a
sides
good
are
look.
at fault here.
By the way, this is not a regular cathedral either. This is a very well-known cathedral. Presidents have been there.
Yes.
Major events have been there. And now, officially, this is also
St. Patrick's?
St. Patrick.
I think Kennedy and Jacqueline Onassis were married there.
I think so as well. Yeah. I mean,
that's one of the most beautiful churches in New York.
Well,
but I mean, listen.
If there's anything we've learned from this community, they'll have sex on Congress floor.
Yep.
Gay sex.
Yep.
Okay. Remember that story a month or so ago?
Yeah.
Where's that now? Where's that person
Nothing.
now?
He got no. What do you mean? Nothing happened.
I think
to
he
him?
got a raise.
Yeah. He got. No pun intended.
Yeah.
She did get a raise.
Yeah. He got- a couple of things got raised.
Yeah.
But now, so it's just, it's anti-God, it's anti-religion.
Yeah.
And there it is. Capitol Police have closed their investigation to Senate hearing room gay sex tape.
Of course.
Okay, 2 hands up for the homie. But it's just, listen, you don't have to be religious. You can be atheist. You can be agnostic. But you could also say that is completely disrespectful.
Yeah, it's not good.
The two aren't mutually exclusive. You don't have to be a Catholic to say, you're doing a little too much. You don't have to approve of Congress to say, yeah, you probably shouldn't having gay sex on the Senate floor.
Rob, do you have the Sam Altman OpenAI video thing to show? Okay, so check this out, folks. OpenAI Sam Altman blows minds as he shows off text to video AI. Sora showcased its capability when CEO Sam Altman asked followers on X to submit commands, resulting in ultra-realistic videos that left observers in awe, with one commander remarking, "This one convinced me the future is here and it's going to be okay." Go ahead, Rob. Play the clip. This is AI.
That's crazy.
This is AI.
You know what he said? Show me a Tokyo snowy day, blah, 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 blah. I mean, you could tell, like, if you really look close, they're fake. But all he did was ask for this.
They're walking
and the
like
AI
robots.
did this. But AI did this. Is that crazy? You just prompt it.
Are there any other videos?
Yeah, there's another one
Can
of
we
just
see
like
some more, Rob?
There's one of just like Tokyo.
Show me a Senate staffer having sex on the Senate floor with his gay lover. Can you show me that, Rob?
Did you see the one they said, show me a Biden leadership clip, and it got a 404
Look at
error.
this mammoth. Like, oh, dude, how crazy is that?
Did you call it a man myth?
Mammoth.
Oh, mammoth. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So you ask and it creates the clip.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
What else do
prompt
we
it like,
have?
A movie trailer featuring the adventures of 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky.
Look at that. That's he like ChatGPT.
Get out of here. And it just makes it.
100%. Like ChatGPT, you say, build this for me, and it does that.
Guys,
and this is new. Imagine in 5-10 years from now.
Guys, I'm just realizing right now. This is great. This is cool. This is amazing. This is for entertainment. This is for movies.
But
imagine when they say, show me Donald Trump fill in the blank. Anything illegal, illicit,
or
anything.
Anybody. Or
show me Joe Biden.
Adam Sosnick.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Patrick
Hey,
David?
don't put ideas in people's heads,
Adam,
Vinny.
You know, this is where it goes.
Wasn't there a rap about the BizDoc I heard recently?
There was. There's a
BizDoc
guy,
and Ben Shapiro, two of the best rappers in the world. One of those is a true story.
A guy sent a rap that was, G-rated. Was in Snoop's voice, and he sent it. But imagine in the future about me. But imagine in the future, this is where we need
the big doc walking down the street with a big case study.
His name was Spencer Reckel. Spencer Reckel did it.
Yep.
Shout out to Spencer.
No, I'm saying in the future, this is where we need to have the technology to tell what's fake. I mean, Adam, I'm not picking on you, but what if you break up with a girl and she decides to say to AI, hey, give me a Adam Sosnick raping a girl in a VIP area, in the back corner of a club in a VIP.
Unbelievable, Tom.
And what if it looks incredibly true?
I don't know, Tom.
And
a horrible example.
Guess what? No, it's not a horrible example.
No, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's a horrible example, Tom. Thanks.
No, it's not. It's someone decides to make a retaliation, and they go after you, and you go and take a look what Duke Lacrosse. You take a look what the law enforcement did with Trevor Bauer. All those people were innocent, by the way. And now you put what looks like authentic evidence that looks like it came from a camera phone on top of it. This is really a slippery slope.
Scary. It's scary because think about this. The hell with you're proving it afterwards. The initial video sent to like a news.
Oh my gosh, it must be true.
What do you mean? The moment they put it out there, and then you have to backtrack and go, no, wait a minute, is this AI?
This guy who's lived in Miami all of his life is an insurance guy, had a good career, is well known and
Tom,
everything. Oh my God!
Leave my name out your mouth, okay?
No,
listen, relax.
He must be back.
Tom, drop it. You're giving people horrible ideas. But when did ChatGPT officially launch? I think it was November of 22.
2 years.
So this is going to be the first election that we've ever seen where ChatGPT, November of 22. There it is right there. And that was after midterms.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now
this is the first election of our lifetime where OpenAI, ChatGPT, all these chatbots can run rampant, and it could be very scary.
By the way, so when you think about this, how many jobs does that replace? Think about editors. Think about B-roll for movies. Think about the God knows. Go ahead, Tom.
We to your question, we did a roll call on the last podcast on layoffs, and Duolingo said they were laying off 10% of the workforce, and most of those jobs would be replaced by AI. And Duolingo is the translation service.
By the way, a chart came out. I'm trying to see if Brandon can send it to me, showing what industries, what jobs were being replaced the most by AI, were affected by the most by AI, and which level of education were being affected by AI the most. Brandon, if you're okay, he just sent it. Pull up that Pew Research because that's the one you want to take a look at.
Scary.
The data is absolutely staggering. If you can pull that up, Rob, he just texted to us. And you would say, well, I mean, listen, the people that are the most educated are probably least affected by AI, right? So watch what it says. Which U.S. workers are most exposed to AI with their jobs? About a fifth of all workers have high exposure jobs. Women, Asian. Go to the bottom, you'll see it. Go to the bottom. Watch this right there. Zoom in. So all workers, men 17%, okay, women 21%. They're more affected by AI than men. Whites 20%, blacks 15%, Hispanics only 13%, Asians 24%. Okay, the most affected by AI, hurting their careers. American Indian 16%, other 18%. Less than high school degree 3%. You're not affected by it.
Bachelor's. Wow.
High school degree 12, bachelor's 27. Wow. The reason why they're saying this is because the people that went and got the degrees and education, your jobs that you were gonna go do,
computer will do it. Wow.
However, the lower level jobs like
construction,
cooking, food, construction,
mechanics, you're golden. Wow.
So the whole concept of getting a Did you understand?
Well, holy shit!
This further proves the narrative about college being completely overrated and overvalued these days.
Waste to get a college degree. Why am I getting a degree, Dad? Because my job's going to be replaced. I'm better off with a high school diploma.
You've done multiple videos saying that college is a scam. Candace Owens talked about it. We've talked about it a bunch. There really needs to be some serious consideration to young people out there getting into the HVAC, plumbing, technician type of world that you have to do with your hands, even if it's engineering, what have it may be. Like, that is the future. You can make six figures, if not then some. What's the guy, Tim Kennedy? He was on Rogan. Absolute certified stud. He was basically saying, this is what you can do as a man out there. Yeah, Tim Kennedy out there. But, you know, trade schools, technical schools, you know, a lot better these days than just getting a liberal arts degree in college.
So anyways, the future of AI is going to affect the people with the fanciest degrees. That's a very interesting, and it breaks down what jobs are the least affected and what jobs are the highest and what jobs and degrees are the best ones to get. Rob, if you have that, Brandon, if you have that, send that to me as well.
And you saw the Hispanics, Pat, like they're not threatened at all because Hispanics work their asses off in, you know, on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is the one. Watch this right here. Okay, jobs in the U.S. that are likely to have the highest, medium, and lowest exposure to AI. So budget analysts, highest exposure, data entry layers, tax preparers, technical writers, web developers. You're all screwed with AI because it's going to do the work better than you and faster than you. Medium exposure, CEOs, veterinarians. That's good news. Okay. Interior designers, fundraisers, sales managers. Lowest exposure, barbers. Drew, you're good. Childcare workers, dishwashers, firefighters, pipe layers.
Yeah, exactly. There's the trade school stuff.
All the trade school people.
Anything that involves you actively working, not sitting at a desk in front of a computer, your jobs are safe. Yeah. Anything that involves sitting in front of a computer, no good.
Pat Deli just texted me. No good. Tell Pat not to replace me. I'm better. Hey, Deli, anybody out there that's behind the computer right now editing, you better start taking some construction.
Can you imagine? Imagine we get an email saying from all our editors, hey, Rob, are you guys looking for people to help do construction with the new building?
We'll start digging right now. I heard you're buying land.
Low exposure.
They have enough humor to do that.
I've said this before and I'll say it again. If you know how to lay pipe, you're going to be okay. Shout out to the pipe layers out there.
Pipe layers, shout out.
Here we go. Here we go. Navalny.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Navalny.
Yeah.
Shifting gears.
Alexei Navalny died of sudden death syndrome. Authorities claim as devastated mom forbidden to see Putin critics' body. So let's go through a couple of these stories here. Which ones we want to go with? Is that the first one? I'll just go through the first one here, and then you can comment on it. So Russian authorities' assertion that Alexei Navalny died from sudden death syndrome drew skepticism and anger from the family and supporters, with Navalny spokeswoman stating Alexei Navalny was murdered. The conflicting narratives surrounding his death is occurring in a remote penal colony, have fueled suspicions about foul play. Despite calls for transparency, initial reports from Russian officials claim Navalny collapsed and died during a walk due to feeling unwell. Ukrainian President Zelensky directly accused Putin kills whoever he wants. Putin kills whoever he wants, while Navalny's demise coincides with a military victory in Ukraine, removing a significant political obstacle for Putin. Navalny's family faces hurdles in locating his body, with authorities providing contradictory information and lack of transparency, exacerbating suspicious of a cover-up. Adam.
Well, there's so many ways to go here, but let me just say condolences to Alexei Navalny. This is a name, if you're not familiar with, we've actually learned his name for years, because in 2020 we talked about a flight that he was on where he was poisoned, where Putin tried to kill him, and somehow he survived. So Putin at this point, if it's not clear to you, Putin is a bad dude. And for the Putin sympathizers, especially those on the far right, it's time to wake up. This guy is not your friend. He is not an ally. I know you want a strong leader, but a strong leader in the White House is a lot different from a strong leader autocrat in Russia. So, you know, there's terms like autocrats or theocrats, or there's terms like oligarchs. What Putin is a kleptocrat. and he is thieving and stealing and corrupting Russia like no other. Let me give you an example. Who was Alexei Navalny? Alexei Navalny in 2011 started a 501c3, which is a nonprofit called the Anti-Corruption Foundation. That was his foundation. Now, we've learned of Navalny because you interviewed Garry Kasparov, the world's greatest chess player ever, in the 2021 vault. You interviewed him. Later that year, I was invited to go to the Freedom Forum, where I was able to interview Garry Kasparov as well. That's the same situation where we interviewed, what's our friend's name? Yeonmi Park. I also interviewed Masa Ahmadinejad, the woman who was anti-hijab Iran, basically vocalizing. But that year, Navalny spoke at the Freedom Forum via webcam. Now, why did he speak via webcam? Because he was already arrested and locked up and thrown in a Russian gulag. Now, this is a guy that was poisoned in 2020 on a plane on the way to Germany. This guy got asylum in Germany, got healthy, and what did he decide to do, Vinny? Go back to Russia, knowing that he'd be locked up, knowing that he'd be most likely killed by Putin. But he said, this is not how you show strength. This is not how you basically stand up to authoritarianism. This is what you have to do. He landed, and the second he landed, he was thrown in jail. And anybody surprised to see that he was killed by this Russian gulag is not paying attention to what Putin is doing. Well, so just one last point. So we're cool with him killing dissidents. We're cool with him shooting, poisoning, strangling people. Is that what we're saying? We're okay with him invading sovereign countries. We're okay with him locking up journalists, Evan Gershkovich. At what point do we say, all right, this man is corrupt? Final point. Do you know that there's rankings of what country is the most corrupt country? I want to give a shout out to Russia. 2 years in a row, World News, World Affairs, Russia, 2 years in a row, most corrupt country on earth. Number 2 country, Pat, this should give you a little hope. Number 2
Ukraine
is Iran. Number 2 is Iran. So Russia is more corrupt than the theocratic, thug-like mafia regime in Iran. By the way, I'm not giving Ukraine a pass here because Ukraine is the second most corrupt country in Europe. So there it is, Russia. Congratulations. Keep voting for Putin. By the way, there's an election in 1 month where he's a shoo-in to win because he's already killed all his opponents or they've been shut up or thrown in jail. So Russia, number 1, 2 years running. Iran, number 2. Last point, corruption. Do you know that how much money the Russian president gets a year? Do you know what their number is?
Well, he's a trillionaire, so, I mean, it should be good, right?
So the number, heads of government salaries, the number one highest paid salary in the world goes to Singapore. They receive $1.6 million. Hong Kong is number 2. Switzerland, number 3. USA is number 4, $400,000. So our presidents, Biden, Trump, Obama, they make $400,000. You know, in Russia, the annual salary is $135,000 a year. So tell me, if there's no corruption in Russia, how you go from being paid $135,000 a year to allegedly the world's richest man at well over $200 billion. He's created nothing but chaos, death, and murder, and he's going to be reelected by a landslide in Russia in 1 month.
Adam, can I ask you a question? Do you think any other world leaders have anybody killed? Do you think, I'm being genuine, do you think?
No, yes, okay. I do. And that's why we need to stand up to these world leaders, not empathize with them.
I'm saying, how about our world leaders? You don't think that, I mean, this is just a big problem. And I get your passion, and God rest his soul. I feel bad for anybody that's trying to speak up. But are you surprised? Like, Putin is, and Pat has said this, is a gangster. That's what gangsters do. And if you know you're going up against a gangster, again, I feel bad for him. But whoever said Putin was a saint? You know, Russians, people in Russia, love their leader, Adam?
Well, that's what you think, because there's Russian propaganda on TV, and if there's anybody that tries to run against him, Exhibit A, Alexei Navalny, you'll end up dead.
Okay, but
so do you know that there's thousands of people that came out to protest Navalny's death, and they've all been thrown in jail?
Okay, but
so like to equivocate saying, hey, look, this is just what they do.
What do you mean?
They invade countries, they kill political dissidents.
You sound like you sound like you're explaining what America does. So my question to you is,
America. Like,
hold on, don't say no. Have we ever?
There's a big difference between killing Donald Trump.
If you make your point, let him say. Go ahead.
I want to make my point. So
you asked me a question.
Have you ever heard of any political leaders having anybody killed that's talking shit about them, or like? You don't see it because it's not televised, because Russia and Putin it's such a dangerous enemy to us. But like it happens all the time. You don't think Obama or any of these people have had anybody killed? Like Edward Snowden, by the way, he was on a kill list. If they could have gotten to him, they would have killed him just for talking shit, and revealing what they were doing. And let's not forget, how many people, she's not the president, how many people have mysteriously died under Hillary Clinton?
So are you actually condoning killing of Alexei Navalny? What is happening right now?
No. Again,
you're condoning.
Don't put words in my mouth.
No. There's a difference between killing a bad dude when you kill what is famously Trump said. He's like Soleimani is dead, or whoever the hell he said he talked about. There's a difference between Vinny. Soak this in for a second. Killing Donald Trump versus trying to politically inexcuse him from a debate. He killed his opponent. They throw them in jail. They're wrapped around a noose around their neck with a piano wire. They're shot in the head. They're poisoned. That's a little bit different than what goes on here in America.
You don't think they
Please don't excuse what Putin is doing as completely just rational, and that they all do this.
Adam, we just hold the parade in Dallas. That's how we do it.
Yeah, hold on. Do not act for 1 second that if they couldn't get away with killing Trump, they would do it. Please don't lie to yourself.
Okay,
hold on. Don't talk for 2 seconds. Don't lie to yourself. We've already found out that the CIA was involved with killing one of our presidents. Don't act, Adam. I love this innocence of, hold on.
Stop sucking Putin's,
Adam,
know what? I don't get it.
You sound exactly like Van Jones. You sound exactly like all these leftists. Yeah, you do, because
I'm saying that Putin is an autocrat who kills his political dissidents?
Every leader of
Vinny,
every
you sound like an authoritarian sympathizer.
No, Adam.
It's naive and it's ignorant.
You sound like you should work for CNN, because I'm not condoning shit.
You should
the
work
guy's a bad
for
guy.
the Russian TV.
He's a bad guy.
You should go work for Putin.
He's a bad guy.
Okay.
What do you want me to do? You're I love the shock factor.
Who's under your desk right now? Tucker Carlson? What is happening right now? PBD, where are you going?
You have to go pee? Oh, by the way,
sorry.
Adam, can you do me a favor?
I'd rather work for... This is the problem that you don't get, Vinny.
Yeah.
I would much rather work for CNN than I would for Russian propaganda TV. You're trying to equivocate an authoritarian, murderous regime to leftist sympathizers. Big difference, buddy. Big difference.
Who's saying that Putin's not a bad guy?
Vinny, you're doing that? I don't think you're doing that. I think you're restating it.
You are.
You are. I'm saying he's a bad guy. Period. I'm saying, why are you so surprised that he killed the guy? Oh my God!
Definitely not
the biggest gangster in the world. He killed the guy. That's like saying Sammy the Bull. You have another body under your belt. Why are you so shocked? It happens. That's
Vinny,
who he is. He's not hiding it.
Nobody's shocked here.
He's not hiding
is expected.
It. No, he's not hiding it.
Okay. But you have Putin sympathizers like you that think he's a strong leader and strong like bull.
Wait. So be careful. Back that up. Back off a minute, buddy. Back that up. Where is he sympathizing with Putin? Where is he condoning?
Hold on. Adam, that's such
he's
a
giving a moral equivalence.
No, I'm not.
To Hillary Clinton. Allegedly doing something.
Oh yeah, she allegedly.
Actually, Vladimir Putin
she allegedly
killing
did
people.
It. Oh yeah, she allegedly.
It used to be the conservatives and the people on the right wing that were anti-communist, anti-fascist. Now you guys are sucking Putin off.
I got a question for you.
Boy,
I got a question.
Boy,
Tom,
facts take a holiday with you, dude.
So I got a question for you.
Calm down, princess.
I got a question for you. So
0% tough.
What do you think is the percentage that Navalny was killed by Putin's people.
1 billion%.
Oh, wait, you told me never to say 100%.
I know.
Whoa! So now you're eating your own word. 100% is a fact.
You know those 47-year-old guys that just walk around and just drop dead.
Adam, was he vaccinated?
Oh, no, yeah, there it is.
Can I ask questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask questions?
I can't believe that this guy's sympathizing with
here we go. Here we go with that word.
You need to call it a sympathizer.
Can I just ask a question? What do you think? What do you think are the chances that he was killed by Putin's people?
Ask Adam, because Adam said.
He already said. He said 1 billion%. What do you say?
Guess what? I don't know, Pat. Maybe 70%, because I was told never to say 100.
My Putin would never. Not my Putin.
So stupid.
Not my friend. Not my friend, Vladimir. My friend would never.
So stupid.
Yeah, Vinny, he would kill you in an instant if he could.
What percentage you think Putin, his people killed?
Come on, Tom, bust out your calculator for this
I
one,
think
guy.
this is like 99.9%.
Oh, shocker! Thanks, Tom, for being a realist.
So with that being said,
I mean, there's this little teeny thread in there, Pat, but it's like 99. I mean, this is the way Putin operates.
Tom, is it closer to 100 or 90?
Right, no, I'm not getting 99.99999.
But Vinny's somehow still at 70.
Because I was told by you never to say 100%.
Yeah, but even Tom, the smartest guy in the room here, knows 99.99.
Contradiction.
Did he see?
You're so oblivious that you're like 70%.
Let me follow up with a question.
Has he seized the assets of
Maybe he was
billionaires?
vaccinated,
100%.
Maybe he was vaccinated.
Let me follow up with a question. Here's a follow up with a question. So number one, everybody here assumes that if you were a betting man, you're betting that this was an inside job, and he took out an opponent. Great, so we're there. Now let's go to the next.
Do you have a percentage? By the way,
I think this team is capable of doing that.
Yeah.
No, I'm more towards yes than I'm towards
what
no.
percentage would you say?
I'm above 50% towards yes. Okay, so
what is happening right now?
So,
Okay,
but by the way, but what I mean by that is, do I think it's a direct hit, or do I think it's a direct influence through proxy and other gangs and stuff like that? Yes, I'm there. So whatever that is, I'm in that area, okay? But do I think it's like a person that's a soldier coming in? I don't know about that. Now let's go to the second part. Okay, so what should happen? What should happen to him?
What should happen to who?
To Putin.
Well, nothing's going to happen to him.
No, what should, he said. What should happen to him?
I think
How should America react?
Well, I think what is going to happen, in my humble opinion, Vinny was so graciously saying that we should provide zero assistance to Ukraine. But, you just went off on the Trump camp over people in New York basically not defending Trump, even if you don't agree with Trump, even if you don't agree with Voldemort Zelensky. There's a famous quote: the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. So when you're looking at this, let's go over a timeline for a second. You have the Tucker interview. You have the Senate foreign aid package. You have Trump basically coming out and saying, Russia, go ahead and do whatever you want to NATO countries. You have basically this week was the Munich Security Conference. And then following that, Putin is a sick KGB leader. It's almost like his name is in the news. So it's like, how do I steal the show? Kill my political dissident, right? So
make your point.
So my point is this: I think this will lead to them funding the Ukraine foreign aid package.
New York. You said about New York. Okay, where were you going with that?
No, exactly. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to do nothing. I agree with the people in New York.
Can I turn it around? Okay. Can we play devil's advocate? Let me play devil's advocate. Just play along here with me with devil's advocate. Anytime something weird happens, you have to trust and put everything on the table of possibilities and then put percentage next to it, okay? Purely percentage next to it. All right, so let me ask you, has the bill passed for the $60 billion to Ukraine yet? Has that passed yet?
It went through the Senate, but not the House.
Okay, so meaning it's not done yet, right?
No, not even close.
And originally it was supposed to be the border bill, and eventually, is it fair to say that we found out it was never about the border, it was really about Ukraine?
It was fair to say that it was a conglomerate of money being sent around to foreign aid and domestic border bill. Yes.
The answer is yes.
So the majority was towards $60 billion Ukraine. Okay.
The majority was towards foreign aid.
And is it fair to say that the establishment, not the left, the establishment, the McConnell, the Schumer, the Pelosi, the people, the establishment, is not happy with the fact that that bill didn't go through? Is it fair to say that they're not happy about it and they're upset about it?
Yeah, he said it's become fashionable to avoid global interests around the world.
So then from there on, what stories did we hear? We heard, and by the way, this is a little bit creepy now, and I hadn't even thought about this. Do you remember when they said something very bad is about to happen in Russia? And do you remember that clip, Rob, that was going viral with everybody on the establishment, right and left, that was talking about something?
They were talking about like space
nukes
weapons.
Something bad's about to happen to Russia, right?
By the way, he was interviewed on Meet the Press this past weekend.
Who was?
By Chris, the guy that made the comment to Kristen Welker.
Right.
He was interviewed by him.
So, okay, something's going to happen.
He's a Republican, number one.
Right. So the question becomes, is there a possibility that, a internal side, because, you need to create, when you want somebody to fall, like in Iran, again, I go back to this, Cinema Rex fire, 400 people in a theater were locked, doors shut by Khomeini's people, okay? 400 people died in that theater, crossed the street from the police station. They blamed the Shah. Next thing you know, he's exiled. That's it. They took over Iran. But you know who blamed who everybody in Iran, including my mother and family members, you know who they thought did the work at the Cinema Rex fire? Everybody, logical people, they all said this was the job of who? The Shah.
The Shah.
Because if you talk to anybody that knows anything, that follows anything and says anything about this, they'll say this, but the Shah was a real mean dictator, right? He was really this. It's the first thing they'll ever say, which means propaganda worked. And then a year later, not even a year later, a few months later, the person that came out, if you can find this here, the story of the individual that came out, and they said the person that did Cinema Rex fire, death toll perpetrators, of the revolution, they blamed Savak at the top. Initially, the revolutionaries, Khomeini side, falsely alleged that Savak is the Shah's MI6, the Shah's Mossad, the Shah's CIA, allegedly said that Savak's intelligence were the pursuit of individuals who ran into the theater, used it as an opportunity to hide it in a large crowd, blaming them, right? Then years later, it came out, the Iranian newspaper, Sohem Ruz, blamed the radical Islamists in an editorial, blah, 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 and a name came up. The person that was behind it was, from what is known, the Cinema Rex exit doors were intentionally locked. Widespread rumors at the time was Savak and pro-government agent responsible, yet the arson was consistent with the Islamic activists setting ablaze cinemas and other venues of supposed Western dissidents for more than a decade. As witness in this, eventually a name came out that was, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. You can find out to see who it was. And it was Khomeini's side. Everybody found out. It was public, right? But it was so effective to get rid of the Shah. How bad do you think the left wants to get rid of Putin?
Well, I don't think it's just a left thing. I think that anybody with sensibilities thinks that Putin is, as Alexei Navalny called him, a bad dude.
Let me replace it. How bad do you think the establishment wants to get rid of Putin?
On the list of probabilities, I would say very, very high.
Willing to do anything?
Such as what?
Anything. Willing to do anything to redirect the attention elsewhere, to cause the world to support them, to approve a bill to get rid of that guy.
I doubt that it's Congress, but if you're asking me if the CIA would do anything,
illegal,
shadowy, and what's illegal? Anything shadowy and
capable. Are they capable of it?
CIA is capable of anything.
So let's just play back any number of Nikki Haley's recent campaign speeches about depowering and removing Putin, and then she goes so far as to say also Xi. And she's very establishment. Pat, they're out there saying it.
All I'm saying is, here's all I'm saying, guys. My first thing is, okay, that's the opponent, and you poisoned him in the plane and all this other stuff, Prigozhin. It's like a trend. Fine. So it's going towards
a track record to murdering your opponents with Putin.
I'm with
Nobody
it.
said that. Nobody's like,
just like Hillary Clinton, though, right? I mean,
50 people
exactly the same.
end their lives.
I'm with it. I don't think they're very different, by the way.
You're making a point here, Pat. I know you're going.
I don't think those two are very different. But
I do.
Yeah, because you love Hillary Clinton.
I don't.
You still
I'm
have an I'm with her sticker on your car.
I think if Hillary,
you have an I'm with her tramp stamp.
I think if Hillary was the president of the United States and could get away with things that Putin gets away with, she would gladly do it as well. This is my opinion. That's not your opinion. It's my opinion.
Yeah.
You don't think Hillary Clinton's capable of doing this?
I think she's certainly capable. I just don't think she's Vladimir Putin.
Of course not, because you weren't.
Because she's more discreet about it. She's actually more Sun Tzu, Art of War type about it. All I'm saying to you is, we have to sit here and assume that both is possible for it to happen. It is very high likely that this was the job of Putin and his camp. When is their election coming up, by the way?
It's in 1 month on March 15th. And anyone who was running against Putin,
was Navalny
nobody's heard
running
from them recently.
Was Navalny running?
No, he was barred from running because when he was thrown in jail, he was called a criminal, and you can't run if you're a criminal, I guess, unless your name is Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, to me, if I have to put orders of things that could have happened here, number one for me is this is Putin getting rid of an enemy. That's number one. Number two, in a distance, but it would be a number two, would be U.S., CIA, certain people from the establishment that maybe they have this kind of intel to create a ruckus at a time like this, to pass the bill, to get more Americans supporting Ukraine again, because the concept of Ukraine is becoming less and less what? More and more Americans, left and right, are supporting Ukraine less and less. They're like, what are we doing sending all this money?
There's a waning interest in
Even
Ukraine.
Kamala Harris came out and she said what? She came out recently, and Kamala Harris's words, by the way. She said, U.S. will help Ukraine for as long as it takes. A lot of Americans don't agree with this, to say we will support America for as long as it takes. So maybe they want to bring this out to be able to support Ukraine as long as it takes. It should definitely be on the list of possibilities of what happened with Navalny. That's all I'm saying here.
And I just, hold on, because Adam, that's you being a contradiction to yourself when you said, never ever, you said this in this room, never say 100%. You are saying it's 100%, which, hold on, let me finish. You cannot say that for a fact, but for you to be so naive, you are being so naive to be like, oh, Hillary, you can't compare. You're delusional to think that 50-some people that are involved with her ended their lives because they just couldn't. No.
Let's stay on focus. Let's stay on Putin here,
Hold on. Adam, like you always say, we can multitask. I can multitask. You're delusional and you're naive if you think that who the hell was the support? I can give a shit. What I said was he's a gangster and he's doing gangster things. You're naive to think that our government, our leaders, and not even the president, Hillary Clinton and her husband, could have people, hold on a second, that are against them, go up in a tree, hang himself with a cord, shoot himself in the chest with a shotgun, and the shotgun's never found. You're delusional, you are, to tell me that this guy, I'm worshiping Putin because he's evil, but there's no comparison with Hillary Clinton.
What year was Hillary Clinton president again?
Exactly. That should scare you even more. She's not.
Exactly.
But she still can't have everybody killed that fucks with her. Okay. Period. Sorry for my language.
Listen, if you want to believe that Hillary Clinton is a mass murderer, that's all you,
never
buddy.
Said mass murderer.
That's all you.
Never said mass murderer.
But I'm going to follow the stats here. Anyone that has been in direct conflict with Putin has been shot, stabbed, poisoned, death, murdered, blown up in a plane. So it should give you a little bit of pause that for some reason, the far right fringe, which I'm putting you in right now mentally, is somehow a Putin sympathizer.
Again,
and somehow is like,
you sound Adam, you sound like, who the hell, when the hell did I ever say that?
Say one bad thing.
He kills people, you idiot. How many times do I have to tell you?
Okay, but you're the type of person that says we should give no money to Ukraine. You should let him invade in foreign countries.
Adam,
you should let him lock up political dissidents.
My right fringe mind.
It's probably not even
my right fringe mind. Hold on, my right fringe mind. None of it happened during the right wing Donald Trump. Why did it happen all of a sudden? No. Why did it happen all of a sudden these past years?
You're saying that under Trump, nobody was murdered or bludgeoned to death under Putin? Have you read a newspaper in the last 20 years?
Russia and all this bullshit. Nothing happened. You are
completely untrue.
You sound like the mainstream media. You sound like the mainstream media throwing out those bullshit things. Putin sympathizer, Putin price hike. You sound exactly like the left-wing media. That's the problem. You can't just throw stupid-ass labels like that with no explanation. Oh, when did I say I'm
You're the type of person that would vote for Putin over Biden.
What are you even talking about, Adam?
Who would you vote for?
What are you talking?
Vladimir Putin or Joe Biden?
None of them. How about none of the above?
That's how
I'm on the sideline.
Twisted you are.
You would vote for,
you would actually sit this one out instead of an American president versus a Russian dictator. That's how warped you are. That I wouldn't vote for neither of them.
You know how warped you are?
The answer's Biden.
What are you even talking about? Adam, I'm voting for a Russian president. You're not making any sense.
You're proving my point is that you're putting these guys in the same category.
Let's come back.
American presidents versus Vladimir Putin.
Adam,
okay,
you're delusional.
Let's
Plain
come
and
back
simple.
here. Let's come back here. And
let's have an argument.
look,
man.
I would tell you. So for me, in a situation like this, this is the part, and FYI, there's some people, you didn't even bring this up. There's some people that are even saying the timing of it has to do with Tucker's interview. Like,
yes.
I don't know who said the Daily Beast or somebody even wrote that, kind of a
Russian
hinting.
RT Media.
What page is that? What page is that?
Top of page 6. Margarita Simoyan of RT.
Do you have the Van Jones clip with
Bill Maher?
with Bill Maher and what do you call it? The one you were telling me about.
Yeah. And it's so basically it's Van Jones and Ann Coulter again on Bill Maher. Bill Maher wanted to know their thoughts of Tucker going in there.
Right there.
And by the way, Van Jones, play this clip, and I want to show you. This is the epitome of a beta male. Is this dude right here?
What do you think of Tucker? I mean, you used to be friends with him, right? I mean, going over there and
giving a lap dance to Putin.
Basically. I mean, parading himself for all these years as so pro-American, and then going over there and basically saying this is the really good country, Russia, and this guy, and not bringing up any of his crimes. What is his motivation? Can you get into his head a little for me?
Well, no, I'm not a huge fan
of Tucker.
Jealousy,
I think a lot of what
jealous.
people do on both sides is motivated by seeking money and fame.
Tucker this wants is money. The way to do it. This is how. I mean, couldn't he still be on Fox?
Look, I mean, he went over there and said, Moscow is this amazing city because the trains run on time.
Right.
I'm like, isn't that what they said about Hitler?
Mussolini.
No, it was
like
Mussolini.
Mussolini.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Your
so
history
the trains
major.
run on time, but people are being literally, killed in prison because they have an opinion. That's not a great country.
I think you can say
it's not a great country to everybody in the world except
say
Russians.
that people are motivated by money and fame if they were on Fox News. The Fox News that then had to pay $700 million in defamation. I would say you can read it on my Substack first, or wait for Fox to pay a $700 million defamation judgment.
By the way, Van Jones, the last time we heard of him, he was shaking and crying because Vivek, a skinny Indian guy, did a speech, and Van Jones was like, I was shaking. Okay, and for them to say that Tucker's interview let the world hear what an adversary has to say, and for them to say he's giving a lap dance, CNN is doing way more. They're having sex with Biden every single day. So for him to say that type of shit really, really drives me crazy. It drives me nuts. Now and look, and Bill Maher, like, what? Why would you go over there? We know why he went over there.
What did Colbert say? What did Colbert say?
Stephen Colbert has another Trump derangement syndrome. He was one of the biggest shills of the left. Remember him with his dancing vaccine stuff. He just had one of his TDS moments where, mind you, he's a comedian. Okay, he's had to take off his glasses, run up to the camera to all the stuff that's happening with Trump right now in New York.
Hear it.
Yeah, look at
Go
this.
ahead, Rob.
I know how numb we've become, but it's not normal. No other candidate for the presidency has ever had to pause his campaign to defend himself in multiple courts. And I would like to point out that in all 7 of his cases, no one doubts that he did these things. We're just sitting around patiently waiting to find out if the wheels of justice will grind fast enough for there to be any consequences. And the media is covering it like it's any other political story, like it's all horse race. I know.
Well, don't you miss Jay Leno and Johnny Carson and those late night where it's supposed to be fun and happy? That's a political activist. Like, why is he so insane? And it's happening and it's shifting. But Bill Maher, I'm tired of people going, oh, Bill Maher's leaning right. And don't get it twisted, bro. It's because Trump was gone, Biden was in, they have nothing to talk about. They have absolutely nothing to talk about. It's election year, Trump is back, and now the Trump hate train, the wheels are starting to spin, and it's only a matter of time till Bill Maher goes back to old Bill Maher, where it's just Trump is going to start World War III, Trump is a Russian asset, Trump and all that bullshit, and I'm tired of it. And it's going to keep happening. It's going to get worse, and you're going to see it happen.
Regarding Tucker, you have to respect him for going to Russia. So for the people on the left that are like, I can't believe he's a shill. He's just a Putin
doing lap
puppet.
dances, Adam. Lap dances, they said.
He did, and Putin said it himself. Your friend, Vladimir Putin, your hero.
My friend.
said, yeah, I was expecting a tougher interview. So,
Oh, yeah, he should have been
Vinny, can I talk? Or are you just going to keep yelling all day? Putin said it himself. Yeah, I was expecting a harder interview. So, it's been lauded many times that Tucker was basically giving a softball interview, which he's done to Trump.
What would you have asked, Adam?
Why are you killing innocent people in Ukraine and invading countries? How about that?
You never would have
Why
said
are
none of
you
that.
killing your political opponents?
You never would have said
Why does it seem that anyone who's ever given any sort of challenge to you somehow gets poisoned? Somehow they just throw themselves. Billionaires are locked up in jail, or billionaires are just throwing themselves out of windows. All those depressed billionaires all that. How about tough questions like that? But that's not even my point with Tucker. The point with Tucker, what he missed, what he didn't understand, as much as our cities are crumbling, and and that does need to be held to account, the subways in New York, do you understand when the train stations in Russia were built? Do you know when they were built? Take a wild guess, Vinny.
During Stalin?
Oh, exactly. Lucky guess. During Stalin. What was Stalin known for?
Killing people? After?
Yeah, exactly. So how about misappropriating and stealing all the money from the people? Because communism and socialism takes all the money and usurps it to the government, and they build these lavish train stations, and the people are starving while they build these grandiose public homages to the great communist dictatorship of Stalin. So it's no wonder why they're the most amazing train stations in the world. I don't know how Tucker didn't understand that, because all the money was misappropriated to build these grandiose homages to communism. Whereas in New York, all right, there's called public-private partnerships is built on capitalism. And they're like, yeah, we could improve this a little bit, but it's going to cost a lot of money. But in Russia, there's no... Putin, again, makes $130,000 a year. He's worth $200 billion. Your friend.
Yeah,
how much is he paying you to
my
suck
friend,
his...
So it's like Nancy Pelosi. And I love how you keep going to the gay route, which is hilarious.
I'm just saying you're a Putin sympathizer.
Yeah, and you're a
Putin sympathizer.
I'm telling you right now, if
it's
CNN,
crazy.
if
You
anybody
served
on the
in the
left
U.S.
is watching,
Air Force.
don't
You
talk
served
shit. Adam,
in the U.S. Air
Adam,
Force,
don't even
yet you're
try
a
that
Putin
shit.
puppet,
Adam,
Vinny.
don't talk shit about my
expected
service.
more from you.
Adam, don't go there, because trust me, you're going to regret it. I'm telling you
There it
right
is
now,
right there.
CNN.
There's your
I
lovely
think
homeland,
if anybody
Russia,
that works for CNN or MSNBC, I would 100% give you a contract to go there.
Yeah, that'd be great. By the way, Russia TV, if you're listening, and if you could locate the 20,000 emails of the love letters that Vinny has written to Putin, he's looking for a job on RTV, propaganda TV.
So, Tom, next week it's just you and I doing a podcast. Okay. It's going to be fantastic. Me and you represent America.
Let's do it. I think I'm very pro-American right now.
It's the you're pro Adam, which is something completely different. I'd love to do like Monday morning business with you and knock down what's in it for me, entrepreneurs finding answers. I'd love to do like Fast 15, Fast 20 every Monday morning with you, Pat, honestly.
He really just you pitched a show right now. You want to do
There you go, Tom. I'm sure it's going to get a lot of views. It's going to get a lot of eyeballs, Tom.
I will tell you, that's why we have BizDoc, the show, right? If somebody wants to cash that, they can go to the podcast and see what you're talking about the business. Okay, so let's go to a couple other stories here before we wrap up. Disney wants to hide political donations, spending on sex changes from shareholders. Docs reveal. This is another Daily Caller story. So now the board doesn't want people to know what the money is being spent. Let's read this, see what this is about. The board aims to conceal significant financial data, including expenditures on transgender initiatives and political donations as revealed in documents pertaining to the 2024 proxy vote ballot for the annual shareholder meeting scheduled for April 2nd. The board reluctance to disclose spending on gender transition compensation and benefits is met with opposition from National Legal and Policy Center, NLPC, and National Center for Public Policy Research, NCPPR, urging transparency regarding these matters. Shareholders have demanded a report on Disney's funding of gender care by December 31st of 2024, citing concerns about potential risks and gaps in benefits related to gender dysphoria. Similarly, the board opposes disclosing the company's charitable and political donations, rejecting proposals to publish recipients of contributions. Tom, why do you think that is?
Okay, so here's what's going on. Who reported this? Where did this come out of?
What's this?
Rob, where did you find this?
Daily Caller.
Daily Caller.
Oh, the Daily Caller. Isn't that interesting? This is good reporting, and this is also shareholders. Guess what? Not all the shareholders are having the same opinion as the people that are making opinions on the content movies. Some people want Disney to kind of right the ship a little bit, A, from a financial standpoint, and B, from a content standpoint. And maybe if they move the content a little bit, the finances will move. And so what you have is a bunch of shareholders that are saying, hey, you're making crazy decisions and you're not as profitable as you should be. And we think you're doing some crazy stuff. And by the way, we'd like to see just how crazy. What are you spending on this? What are you spending on that? Excuse me. And now the Disney board is like, yeah, we don't want to talk about that. That's what they're saying. Yeah, we don't want to talk about our donations. We want to talk about this. And you got people out there all over it. And Pat, there are people on the Disney board, even though they're very aligned, that do not want to this get out because they are attempting to right the ship at Disney. They're trying to find a successor for Bob Iger. They're trying to restore confidence. And Lord God, they go to church every week and they pray for hits that may the next movie be a hit, which they haven't been able to do. And so what you now have is the shareholders saying, hey, you know what? We want to know. And Disney's board saying, we don't want to talk about that because it just shows you how inside Disney, how warped things have become. It's as simple as that.
Vinny.
To be honest with you, I think and Disney, there needs to be a wake-up call at Disney. When, like, Tom, here's my question to you guys, because on the business side, in these meetings where you just see numbers on the board, Tom, you're the biz doc, at what point do you go, guys, enough is enough? When do you say, guys, this whole idea that we shifted, it's like the border. It's not. Nothing's being fixed. We're going downhill. How do you fix it?
Well, there's two things. There's the denial side and there's the rational side. The denial side is, look, the next movie will be fine. They're in denial.
Yeah.
We can get the analysts want to see more profitability. We need more profitability. Bob, you got to help us out here. We're hoping the next movie is going to do it. And how many movies in a row has that not happened?
It's all of them.
That's called denial is the most powerful drug in America. Denial, not fentanyl, is the most powerful drug in America. Then you have the rationalists that are in the very, very tiny minority, where you have analysts and a couple board members that have been asking to be heard. You know, they've been fighting with each other in groups and using proxies. Well, they're saying, you know what? I think it's deeper than that. I think it's more than just hoping for that next movie. I think we should proactively talk about leadership. I think we should proactively talk about movie decisions. And that is upstream, but we know it's going to take 5 years to get downstream to make these movies. And so that's what's going on here.
What's their stock looking like? What's Disney's stock? Has it
Not
dropped?
good.
That's what I'm saying, Adam. Has it dropped in the past, 2 years, 3 years?
What do you mean? Has it dropped in the past 2-3 years? It's plummeted.
Oh, look at that.
So it was at an all-time high during COVID, and then it's just gone down ever since.
So Adam,
see, there's the 5-year run since COVID. So remember, 21, 22, we could go back to the theaters, right? So ignore 20 and 21.
Okay.
To be fair to Disney, there were lockdowns. You couldn't go to theme parks, except in Florida. And then it came back up. But now they've been introducing movies, 22, 23, and into 24.
The wokeness.
Not happening, is it?
Yeah.
The famous... go woke, go broke. You know, I have a close relationship with Disney because this is the first stock I've ever owned. My grandmother bought me Disney stock when I was like a teenager. I was like, oh my God, what's a stock? She bought me 10 shares of Disney. And I've just been tracking that ever since. It's the first stock I've ever had until I started making real money in my 20s. So I've always sort of rooted for Disney peripherally. But what we've seen since basically COVID is that they've just embraced completely the DEI, ESG, trans woke agenda, and their stock portfolio shows. You know, you talked about price to earnings ratio earlier like that. It's a freaking disaster. So they fired, who was his, Bob Chapek?
Chapek
was the guy, and then they brought back Iger. We all read as a company Ride of a Lifetime. We saw what he did to acquire Pixar and Marvel and everything that he's worked out. You know, he's in between a rock and a hard place.
To me, so if numbers were to come out, I mean, we already know how Silicon Valley companies vote and donate, right? Rob, if you can pull up Silicon Valley political donation companies, you'll see where they vote and how they vote with their money and how far it is. If you go to images, you should be able to see it. Go to images. It shows exactly how there's one that shows exactly what percentage of the money went to, is that by company? Let me see that one right there. That's one of them.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, zoom in a little bit more, Rob. Oh, it just shows the dollar amount. It doesn't show. Anyways, Alphabet was at 98%. You know, Twitter was 99%. Facebook was 98% of the leaders and employees giving money to which political party. It was all the left. These virtual governments that's taking place. But Disney, I don't know why Disney would be surprised. Would anybody surprised if you find out 90% of the employees at Disney give the money to the left?
No, of course
no one's going to be surprised by that they're doing it.
By the way, who owns Marvel? Doesn't Disney?
Zoom in, Rob?
I think so.
Doesn't Disney own Marvel?
I think so.
So there was a movie that came out this week called Madam Web.
Yeah.
Did anybody hear about
right
it?
there. Employee donations to midterm candidates by party. Look at Netflix. 99.6%. I was even wrong. I said 98%. Twitter's at 98.7%. Airbnb 97.8%. Apple 97%. Stripe 97%. Lyft 96%. Google 96%. Salesforce 95%. Facebook 95%. Tesla 94%. 95%. eBay 94%. 95%. PayPal 92%. Microsoft 92%. Amazon 89%. Uber 81%. Hewlett-Packard 80%. Intel 78%. Oracle 66%. You know who runs Oracle?
Larry Ellison,
Larry
number
Ellison.
4.
Rob, just Google real quick, Madam Web. I just want to confirm this before I throw Disney under the bus here. Madam Web was a movie that just came out here. It stars, what's her face?
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson, the daughter of Don Johnson. Marvel Comics. Marvel owns Disney, yeah? Rotten Tomatoes gave him a 13%. IMDb gave him 3.8%. So at what point do you continue to make these movies lose money and then just shove it down people's throats? There it is, 13% Rotten Tomato.
That means their agenda is that, like, Adam, if the great question, because I'm like, is their agenda that, like, important that they're like, listen, you guys are all going to lose money,
by the way,
but we're putting the message.
What makes me think about is if Rotten Tomato gave it 13%,
but the audience
and audience gave it 56%, you know what it tells you? There probably wasn't enough LGBTQ stuff in there for Rotten Tomato not be happy with it.
Yeah,
it was actually the other way around.
Exactly.
The higher Rotten Tomato gives, the worse the movie is. The less they give, the better it is, because Rotten Tomato is coming from the rotten people in the tomato called Hollywood, right? That's kind of where they're coming from. Anyways, let's go to the next story here. Gen Z rejects financial guru Dave Ramsey's advice, saying live debt-free. They say self-care is extremely important. Dave Ramsey's got to figure that out as an old man. He doesn't understand that self-care is more important than
obviously
being debt-free, Dave. I mean, you got to figure this stuff out. Despite Dave Ramsey's popularity, particularly amongst older generations, should say wiser when it comes down to savings, Gen Z dismisses his financial advice as outdated and impractical amidst current economic realities. Young workers reject Ramsey's counsel against daily indulgences, such as expensive coffee, with one individual asserting self-care is extremely important, and if it means buying a $6 coffee every day, do it. Ramsey's recommendations regarding long-term investing, notably home buying, face scrutiny from younger generations who question the feasibility of paying for a house up front in cash, with median income home prices reaching about $363,000 nationwide. Gen Z workers find Ramsey's suggestions out of touch, as illustrated by one respondent who remarked, "It's mind-boggling that the older generation that bought 4-bedroom homes for $50 and a pack of strawberries continues to lecture younger people on money management." Tom, what do you have to say about this?
This is Gen Z being Gen Z, as reported by Gen Z, Business Insider. It's sort of interesting. So Gen Z at Business Insider agree that Gen Z is being screwed and that it's hard to live. But what they're unable to do here is they're talking about they don't see let's go upstream, downstream. They are downstream saying they don't see a path to home ownership or personal wealth. So they're saying, so who the hell cares if I am frivolous about things that make me feel good? That's all they're saying. And if I want to buy coffee and I don't want to save, I want to do all this, and it's just, there's no way. I just don't see any way to the front. I don't see any way to do this. Don't lecture me. Where's my coffee? That's what they're saying. They're spoiled brats having a hissy fit, and they're not going stream to say, what is it with this economy that has screwed you so badly? What is it about the situation that screwed you so badly? Why would that house payment be so expensive? Interest rates are up. Why did houses go up? Do you know about what printing money does to inflated asset classes like, residential real estate? They're not going upstream to think about that. And that's very typical of Business Insider, a bit of a mouthpiece for Gen Z. And so what do? They pick on a rational voice. I guess it was a slow news day, and I guess the Trump, verdict hadn't come out that day, and they just decided, let's pick on Dave Ramsey, let's do some surveys, and we'll let the Gen Z stamp their feet and complain. And what they're not doing is asking, why is the economy like this? Why are there homes so like this? And Business Insider, by the way, is sort of the I almost said news, that would have been a mistake, publishes these articles coming from a decidedly Gen Z and Silicon Valley worker viewpoint, because the Silicon Valley elite are buying up very expensive houses and keeping California. That's what's going on here.
Adam.
So, there's a famous phrase, cutting your nose off to spite your face. That's exactly what Gen Z is doing. They're basically shooting themselves in the foot saying, well, it's not fair that I can't buy this coffee every day, so now I'm never going to buy a house in the history of my life. All right, how does that make sense? If you do the math here, this self-care, I'm not sure how why getting coffee at Starbucks equals self-care. All right, cool. So if you spend $6 a day, 5 days a week, that's $30 a week times 4 weeks a month. You're spending $120 over a year, spending $1,500 on coffee. That's the financial decision you want to make. That's what you're getting behind. That's what you're like, yo, I'm getting my coffee. That's what happened here. Dave Ramsey has a famous phrase where he says, when you're broke, you're desperate. And when you're desperate, you're dumb. These people are just straight up dumb. So if this mentality continues to basically your calling card for your money, guess what? You'll never have enough in savings. You'll never have enough invested. You'll certainly never be able to buy a house. And the, sort of sarcasm of like, yeah, my grandparents, bought a house for $50. No, they didn't. They bought a house for $100,000 when interest rates were most likely double digits in the 80s or in the early 90s. And they had to pay it off, and they're dealing with that.
And grandpa's income was $20,000 a year.
Yeah, exactly. With inflation, everything around there. So Dave Ramsey, there's things you could say about his baby steps and step one, save $1,000, pretty juvenile out there. And he also says things like buy a house cash, not possible these days unless you're making $1 million a year, not possible. He also talks about not buying certain insurance products and only basically buying in term and invest a difference. I know there's a lot of people in the insurance world that have some issues with that. But at the end of the day, Dave Ramsey knows what the hell he's talking about. And you as Gen Z, you're just basically complaining and you're playing the victim and not actually heeding viable advice.
If you want some self-care, Adam just did some math. You could trade in those coffees for a gym membership. Now let's talk about self-care that's actually self-care.
By the way, and just so you know, a number came out that Gen Zs are moving. The number one state they're moving to is Texas, but the number two state they're moving to is California. So the ones that want to save money, and they're actually the long-term thinkers, they're going to Texas. The ones that want to go into Hollywood are going to California, which maybe the numbers make sense why that generation is going there. As a young person, are you going to feel the challenges that California offers? You will, but not at the level of somebody who's in their mid-30s, married with kids, that's dealing with homeless, cost of living, schooling, private school, all this stuff. So when you're 21, 22, maybe you're going to be like, who cares? I don't have a problem with that kind of stuff. I'll go to California. Anyways, next story, 7%.
They'll be back.
See, exactly. 7% mortgage rates are back, but fear not. Rates will fall in 2024, economist says. Mortgage rates began falling again last December when it dipped below 7% for the first time in 4 months, states the Mortgage News Daily. However, rates have surged once more, with the 30-year rates climbing at 7.14% as of Friday afternoon. Freddie Mac said its measure showed rates jumping 13 basis points to 6.77 as of February 15th, highlighting the recent uptick in mortgage rates. Additionally, the Mortgage Bankers Association reported that the average contract rate for 30-year mortgage right now is 6.87 last week. According to Lawrence Yun from National Association of Realtors, the 30-year mortgage rate is likely to go up to 7%, and he projects that the average rate will be closer to 6% by the end of the year, indicating a potential stabilization in a market despite recent fluctuations. Tom.
Listen to those two numbers, America. They're pretty close together, 7% and 6%. And a year ago, I said on this podcast that I was aligned with people that thought there could be as many as 6 rate cuts this year, although I was locked in at 4. Now I'm not even locked in at 3 because I don't think we're going to get a rate cut the next meeting of the Fed. And then meeting after that on May 1st, I'm only 50-50 there's going to be a cut because it looks like inflation is heating up a little bit. We got a little bit more unemployment. So I think this guy's exactly right. In other words, what they're saying is get used to where the interest rates are now. If we get 3 rate cuts this year, it's going to be a small marker. And by a small marker, I think Lawrence Yun from NAR, which is a very rational voice, they're usually this is not politicized. He says, listen, I don't think they'll hit 6.77 right now, but I think the rate will be closer to 6. So he's saying down a little bit, but don't assume these are going back to 3.5 and taking home prices back down with them. It's not going to happen.
Guys, this is big news right here. I mean, I don't know if you saw this. We talked about this last week. Freddie Mac shows that the mortgage rates jumped 13 basis points, guys. Vinny, that is a massive number, as you learned last week. Remember how much 13 basis points is,
That's
right?
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's 13%.
13%. It's insane.
Wow.
It's point.
No, I was
point.
I know.
0.13%.
I read the footnotes at the Lyft earnings report. It's like 13%.
We're used to these numbers, whether that's 6.7 or 7.1. To all my real estate friends out there, we touched on this. I did a whole episode on this on the Soscast every Tuesday and Thursday, by the way. Now is the worst time in 40 plus years to buy real estate. So buyer beware.
You know, in energy, they say, drill, baby, drill. What you need to be supporting, what can you do? So, America, what can we do? You can vote for candidates that are encouraging building. You can vote for candidates that are encouraging sensible redistricting in cities. You can vote for candidates that are looking at the coming commercial real estate problem that would allow developers to convert some of those buildings into apartments. So we need more supply of housing, and that's going to help the price come down a little bit. So it's build, baby, build.
Yep. Next story, which is very important, and I'm sure everybody, the one we just talked about with home prices, that's one thing, but not everybody in America is a homeowner. But the next one directly impacts you, and hopefully you're mentally and emotionally tough enough to hear this story. New York City has the nation's most expensive pizza.
Oh, my God.
Wait,
Here's
what?
how your city stacks up. Pay attention, everybody. CNBC story. New York City holds the title for the nation's most expensive pizza with a large cheese pizza. Ready? Average price, $28.60. That's insane,
God.
right? Nearly double the cost of the cheapest in Richmond, Virginia, $14.75. The 5 boroughs are officially home to the priciest pizza in the nation. States research from Cleaver Real Estate. The average price for a large cheese pizza in the United States is officially $19.34, reflecting a 4% increase from the previous year. Clever Real Estate conducted a study across the country's 50 largest metro areas, considering factors such as number of pizzerias per 100,000 residents, average ratings, and the cost of a pie. Despite the high cost, New York City is the top, with 41% Americans considering it one of the top 5 pizza cities, New York City. Rob, pull up the chart with the ranking top 5 most expensive pizza cities in the country. Number 1 is New York City, $28.60. Number 2 is Chicago, $27.66. It's worth it. Chicago's got some insane pizza.
Deep dish?
Yeah. Orlando's third, $25. LA's fourth, $25. Las Vegas is fifth. Then it's San Jose, then San Diego, then Seattle, then Austin, then Kansas City. The most affordable at the top, Richmond, Virginia. Then it's $14.75. Then it's Carolina. Then it's Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Riverside, California, Phoenix, Arizona. So all you got to do is you just got to drive from L.A. to Riverside, get the pizza, come back, and spend $30 on gas, but save $10 on a pizza. Phoenix, Arizona, Detroit, Michigan, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Virginia Beach. So pizza. Tom, $28.60. What do you think about this story?
I think it reflects the labor cost, and it reflects basically the economy in some of these blue city and taxes. New York and Chicago got high taxes, high labor costs, and look at all the blue cities there, with the exception of Orlando. Although in Orlando, you go to Disney World and the hamburger is, I think, $81.25 with cheese, if you've been to a theme park. And you take a look at these cities, and you look at what's there, and then you go to these more rural areas and smaller towns, and where things are less expensive overall. What you're seeing here is labor and cost of living translating into pizza cost.
And think about it. And now, not only it's the most expensive pizza, at least, and you're in New York, you could run into a migrant. You could probably get shot, stabbed, dragged with a moped.
Your pizza could be stolen,
dude. That's what I'm. So it adds a level.
You could find your pizza in a pawn shop the next day.
Yeah, so expensive. It adds that, like, oh my God, am I going to die getting this expensive pizza? So I think it adds. It's like adds character to it.
You think you're like, you know what? The more expensive the pizza is, the better it is.
Yeah.
But Tom made a very good point. Well, it's taxes, cost of living, inflation, the area you're living in, regulation, hourly. I have to pay my guys the minimum wage. So you're not really paying for the pizza.
Yeah.
You're paying for a bunch of different things in that area.
You're paying for the real estate. Well, as our friend Dave Portnoy always says, one bite, everybody knows the rules. And these bites are going to cost you out there in New York. I'll actually tell you, in New York, it's some of the cheapest pizza in the country. It all depends on your type of palate. Because when I was young and broke and running around New York City in my early 20s, thank God they had 99-cent pizza stores running all over the city. So shout out to my hustlers out there in New York who are basically trying to survive on 99-cent pizza.
What's the favorite pizza you've had? What's your favorite pizza you've had? Tom, favorite pizza, Vinny?
Oh, ever?
All time.
Lucali
in Miami Beach. Shout out to my friends down there in Lucali. Incredible pizza. Also, Angelo's. You got to give them a shout out.
I was about to say Angelo's.
Oh, sorry about that.
Angelo's.
Sorry about
what would
that.
you say?
I think it's called Yonkers Pizza Bar. It's in Yonkers, New York. Pizza Bar. I think the pizza. It's like
I know your favorite pizza.
What?
I know your favorite pizza.
What?
Because you know how much you can get a slice of pizza in Russia?
Here we go.
400 to 600 rubles. It's about $6.
Listen, I don't know if you have
It's your
problem.
favorite pizza.
If you have problem,
Yeah, imagine complaining about pizza in Putin's Russia. You end up poison pizza. So have fun in Russia, Vinny.
Shut up.
Tom, favorite pizza?
I'm not a big pizza guy, but I really like.
How are you not a pizza guy, Tom?
No, I'm not.
Jesus
I'm not a pizza guy.
Christ.
But I really like
Makes sense, Canadian.
CPK barbecue chicken.
California
what?
Pizza Kitchen?
What with barbecue?
You would be
That's such
better
a
off not
white guy
saying
answer.
that.
Wait, can I ask you guys a real serious question right now?
that?
And I want to know dead serious.
Yeah.
You too. Pineapple on your pizza, yes or no? And be careful because this might affect the friendship.
Well, in
Pineapple-
Putin's Russia, they'll kill you.
Shut the
and
hell
I don't
up.
think
Yes
that's
or no?
legal.
Well,
Yeah, tell
it's
me-
very, look, pineapple. I mean, like Hawaiian.
Tom,
Yes,
don't change
Tom.
the words. Yes or no? Do you put fruit on your pizza?
I don't, but I've ordered it.
Get
but
the hell- Pat,
traditional pizza
Pat,
is not.
Pat,
but
You're not going to like it. I will gladly have some pineapple on my pizza. However, it's not one I do all the time. My pizza, I like extra cheese.
Yes.
Okay. I love mushrooms.
You and me both.
Olives, pepperoni. I'm straight up happy. And if I'm at Angelo's and he puts some of the, what do you call it, from Italy,
The Parmesan cheese?
the thing he cuts. What is it?
truffle?
The
Oh, the
truffle.
truffle?
Oh, my
Get it.
God.
The truffle.
Mushroom truffle pizza from
Vinny,
Italy is insane.
I'm with you on this.
Okay.
No pineapples on the pizza.
No, not Putin, Russia. No.
Anything with a P,
By the way,
the Putin, the pineapple.
But you saw Rogan
keep
and
that shit
Elon.
away from
I'm
me.
not gonna lie though. I will try
Plutonium, yes.
pizza.
Thank
I
you.
will
That's probably
try.
what they killed Navalny with.
Rogan and Musk did have live on the Joe Rogan podcast. Shout out to Joe. Anchovy, extra cheese, pineapple, and they ate it, and just the ASMR on it made me want to. I'm gonna try that. Just
Well, we
because
all
it's
saw that
salty
movie
sweet.
back in the day when you ordered extra anchovies.
It was
what was it, Loverboy? What was it called?
Oh
And
my
If
God.
you ordered extra anchovies
means
on
you
the
were hooking
pizza,
up with the delivery guy.
you were getting some action.
Yeah.
So there we go with that story. Rob, can you do me a favor and pull up this? So Rob, if you can pull up the video of Vinny's interview. Hey, wait, before you say anything. So I'm at St. Regis, and Jen and I were going on a walk. So we're gonna go lay down by the beach a little bit on her birthday. So we're going out, and I open the door. The lady's like, "Oh my God, I cannot even believe this, Patrick. I've been following Valuetainment PBD podcast, diehard fan. My husband and I, and da 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 da." I said, "Great." She says, "But I got to tell you, the best interview I've ever watched on Valuetainment was when Vinnie interviewed Putin.
Yeah.
I said...
This lady actually believed it?
No, she's joking.
Thank God.
She's joking. But so here's Vinnie. You got, by the way, this is hilarious. Go ahead and play this clip. I want to show
and
this to
Adam
everybody.
thinks I don't ask the tough question.
Go ahead and play this clip. This is Vinnie interviewing Putin.
Thank you. Some call him a hero, some call him a villain. Today I have the privilege of sitting down with the leader of Russia, Vladimir Putin. Mr. Putin.
Who the hell are you? I was told I'd be sitting with the great Patrick Bet-David.
I'm Vincent Oshana. I work for Valuetainment. Patrick got held up at your customs. He's probably in a gulag or something right now, but I'm filling in. So let's just get right into it. Did you or did you not collude with Donald Trump in 2016 to beat Hillary Clinton?
No, we didn't have to. She's the most unlikable person in the world. Look what she's done to Bill. He looks like a White Walker from Game of Thrones.
Okay, fair enough. What are your thoughts about President Joe Biden? And please be honest.
He's batshit crazy. I heard he wander around the White House in his underwear, bumping into walls like a Roomba vacuum.
Men using women's bathrooms, yes or no?
If a man enters a women's restroom in Russia, he gets a front row seat to the Nutcracker.
Okay, we got it. And now for the hardest hitting question. What do you think about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift?
Nothing but a PR stunt. Worse than Russian propaganda. Travis Kelce dates black chicks with curves. Taylor looks like a garden rake with nipples.
Okay, last question. I was told not to ask it, but I wouldn't do my job as a reporter if I didn't. Prigozhin. Some people say his plane malfunctioned. Some say there was a bomb on it. Some people say you shot him out of the sky.
I asked
is that a new booster?
Yes, like Travis.
Oh, I love Travis Kelce. I'm a Swiftie. Shake it off. Shake it off.
The laugh at the end. Good for you for doing a tough interview.
See, you tried to say that, I'm a Putin sympathizer. I woke up and I was in a gulag.
Good to see that you could actually put your mind where your mouth is and figured it out that he's a bad dude.
Adam
took you all this time to realize that. Thank you.
I love you.
All right, gang. March 8th, Candace, Owens, Chris Cuomo, first time ever. We'll be together. 3-hour podcast. For those of you guys that I think we have general tickets left. I think everything's sold out but general tickets. And that'll go in no time. If you want to be there with us, get yourself a ticket, QR code. And remember, anybody that orders over $100 of merch between now and next Tuesday, we will be giving away 2 VIP tickets to sit with staff on the side, and you'll get to the cigar lounge in the back. But you got to put a purchase of $100 or more. We'll do a raffle next week. Take care, everybody. God bless. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you again on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Tuesday.